Duke Eclipse presents the Horror Hideout Podcast, a podcast covering everything horror, including books, comics, and movies. Presented by Dawson Duke and Kayla Bullock.
Okay, welcome to episode 35.
Which somehow we got off because we missed a week when I was sick and you were sick. So
Yeah.
After March, we will go back to the fives being
Yes.
books or games.
Yeah, but for now, we are taking on the Leprechaun series.
So before we talk about that, I told her I wasn't going to mention it because I haven't finished it yet, but I don't read much vampire stuff. But I am reading one right now called Coffin Moon by Keith. His last name starts with an R. If you like vampires, it is the best vampire book I think I've ever read. I like it better than Salem's Lot. I can't tell you if the ending's as good as the rest of it, but he is one heck of a writer, so check it out. And so since it's March, we are doing 6 of the Leprechaun movies, but today we're going to talk about 1 and 2.
Well, before we do that, I want to do my plug. So, if we're talking about things we've read recently, I just recently read the Wrong Earth series, and there's a few different mini-series, and I had to look up the reading order and figure out what went where. But basically, it's like a campy Batman 66 character named Dragonfly Man gets switched to another universe with a character named Dragonfly, and they're like the same guy, but in alternate universes. But Dragonfly is from like a really brutal universe and is like an anti-hero that kills people. And so they wind up in each other's universes. And it's really good, and it's kind of...
So they're together? And they're not...
No. They end up in each other's.
Okay. Not
So,
like concurrently. They're not together.
No.
In the same universe.
No. No, like, there's like the campy like Batman 66 universe, and this like grizzled Punisher type character ends up there, and then the campy Batman ends up in this world that's like, excuse me, ends up in this world that's like the corrupt, and like the mayor's got like connections with the mob and stuff like that.
Okay, but you're never gonna beat the shark repellent spray in the campy Batman.
They actually, I mean, they don't reference that specifically, but they do make a lot of references to that kind of thing. Like, there's a part where he get the campy one, when he's in like the grizzled world, he gets caught in an explosion, and then he comes out of it fine. And there was a guy with him that he saved, and the guy's like, well, how did you save me? And he's like, I used my patented anti-explosion repellent spray.
Oh my God.
And so they kind of make a reference to that.
If you haven't seen the cheesy Batman movie, you need to watch it because that scene is hilarious. Anyway, we are doing Leprechaun 1 and Leprechaun 2.
Yes.
Today, we will be doing through 6 for the whole month. So let's... Leprechaun 1, spoiler-free review. It's about a killer leprechaun.
Yeah, that's about it.
I mean, and I'm going to say this, and I've told Dawson this a couple times already, too, but there are some movies where, like Age of Dinosaurs, which I had seen before, but I'll put it on and, like, kind of read a book or kind of fiddle around on the computer or something, and these movies were not like that for me. And I was really impressed with them because I always figured they were just really stupid, cheesy, scary movies.
No, because, like, I think what you were picturing probably was something like Ghost Shark or, like, Sharknado.
Yes.
That kind of thing. These are not like that.
Well,
like,
they might get to there with Leprechaun in space and all these crazy things we got coming
but
up,
you'll see when we get to Leprechaun in space, but they play into how absurd it is. And counting Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood as horror movies, some people do, some people don't. They kind of lead more comedy than they do actually horror, but they're still funny, and there's horror elements.
Well, and it's like I said, I think the second one leans more into the action adventure. I mean, he's scary. I mean, but to me, it was more of an action adventure story. So, okay, so Leprechaun 1. You figured out, and I would have known he looked familiar, but I wouldn't have known who it was. And I can't tell you what the actor's name is because I didn't look it up.
I don't think I wrote it down.
So the movie starts out with the dad and his teenage daughter.
Well, the movie starts out and we get kind of a cold open.
Oh, that's true.
Where we see this drunk Irish guy, which kind of stereotype, but he comes home and he's drunk and he gets in kind of a fight with his wife, and
they're an older couple.
Yeah, and he gets a package, and it's supposed to be his mother's ashes, and then he smashes it open and reveals it's actually gold coins. So they're in North Dakota, and they've just moved there from Maryland, and he had shipped that in the mail. Well, then,
I got
as
the
they're in the
impression
house,
he had it shipped from Ireland.
maybe they said motherland, not Maryland.
I think they did,
Okay,
because I think
that make
took
more
it like
sense.
he was getting, like he had been over there and had her ashes shipped, but it was
That would
actually
make
the
more
gold.
sense. Yeah. So the wife's in the house and she hears child's voice coming from the suitcase. So she ends up unlatching it, and the leprechaun comes out, who's played by Warwick Davis, who's been in a ton of stuff. Like, I know he was in Lord of the Rings. I think.
I thought he did a fantastic job in this movie.
Is he in Harry Potter? Is he that one teacher or not?
I don't think so.
Okay. I think I'm getting mixed up with someone else, but he was in Lord of the Rings.
I don't think he was in Harry Potter.
Okay.
Oh, maybe he was. Gosh, he's only 56. He was young. He must have been young when he did Leprechaun then. Let's see. Leprechaun 1. Oh my gosh, he was in Labyrinth. I didn't know that.
Oh.
He was in Harry Potter.
And you had told me that this movie reminded you of Labyrinth.
The second one, not the first
Okay,
one. The second one.
So anyway, the leprechaun ends up scaring the wife down the stairs, and his makeup is just gross.
Yes.
Like,
so he was born in 1970, and this came out in 1993. So he's only 23 when he played that leprechaun in this movie.
they do a really good job on the makeup.
They do. And I also thought between the first one and the second one, they did a really good job making him look the same.
I agree.
Which we will get to it, but I kind of want to mention what we talked about earlier about him being different. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So then, I don't know, did the husband leave again or what? Because we see him come back home, or come back inside.
He went outside to hide the gold.
Okay, that's what it was, yeah. So he comes back in, and he hears his wife's voice, and then Leprechaun comes around the corner with tea. And is like, I killed your wife.
Your wife makes a good pot of tea.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you said this, but the leprechaun pushes her down the
I
base
did
of
say
the
that,
stairs.
yeah.
Okay.
He doesn't push her. He just scares her, and she falls down the stairs.
Sorry, I was looking up what he was in.
Yeah. But here's where we find out he pulls out the 4-leaf clover, and we found out that Leprechaun has a weakness to 4-leaf clovers. And then, the O'Grady is the Irishman's name, and he ends up pulling out a gun and shoots the Leprechaun and seals him in a crate after Leprechaun does like a puppet show with the wife, essentially.
Yeah, and this
But
is
he
in the
doesn't-
basement.
Yeah, they're down in the basement at this point, but he covers the crate and O'Grady covers the crate in gasoline and lights a match, but before he can light it, he ends up having a stroke.
Did you say that he put the 4-leaf clover on the box? That's the only reason.
I don't know if I did, but yes, he does.
The only reason the leprechaun is stuck in that box is because of that 4-leaf clover.
And the leprechaun makes him have a stroke with his magic. And so then is whenever we cut to our main characters.
So, it is Jennifer Aniston plays the daughter, Tori, and her dad, JD, is played by, I cannot tell you the actor's name, but he was Zach Morris's dad.
Yeah, he was Derek Morris.
And I think that's so funny that that's where you knew him from. But is
this the only way to get your attention?
Right. I guess they're moving into this house for the summer, is kind of what I got.
The way I understood it is they're moving into this house so the dad can fix it up, is how I understood it. And it seems to me like maybe the parents were separated. Do they ever say the mom is dead or anything? Because the way I was thinking of it was the parents were separated and she is going to live with her dad. And he's trying to fix up this new house.
Well, it just sounded to me like it was kind of, crap, I lost my train of thought. It was kind of, the summer, and so it was just kind of we're gonna go do this during the summer and then maybe go back to where they were at. So
I don't
if
know.
it's supposed to be like a vacation home. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Tori is from L.A. and she's
So John Sanderford is who plays J.D. Redding.
So Tori is from LA, and so she kind of reminds me of Rachel's character in the very beginning of Friends, where she has kind of been spoiled and has never had to do like manual labor for herself or anything. It doesn't I don't think she really grasps how the real world works. Like she's just always had money.
She's kind of a spoiled brat. I mean,
Yeah,
she's kind of like very much a valley, not a valley girl, I guess, but like very much a city girl.
Yeah.
So
like
she
Clueless.
she doesn't even want to be there. But when they get there, they meet
Nathan
and Ozzy and Alex.
Yes. But they haven't met Ozzy and Alex yet. They meet Nathan because Tori runs into Nathan and he spills paint thinner on himself. And then instead of apologizing, she offers him money.
So they go in the house and the house is
Yeah.
covered in spider webs and there's a big old spider and she's like, nope, I'm gonna go stay in a hotel. You can come visit me once a week, is what she tells her dad. So, but then she runs into Nathan and she tries to pay him instead, and he's like, I don't want your money, sorry.
He just wants an apology, yeah.
You know.
And he kind of challenges her femininity too. He's kind of misogynist. And then we meet Ozzy and Alex. And Alex is a kid, I'd say junior high age-ish. And then Ozzy is an adult, but he's got mental disabilities.
So first of all, Alex is played by, what was his name in that movie? He was in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I'm aging myself. But, what was his name? Oh my gosh. Anyway, did you get the impression that, so the guy that plays Alex played Walter in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
And one thing I want to mention about Tori to show how spoiled she is, this movie, it came out in 1993, so presumably takes place then, and she has a cell phone.
Which I was cracking up because it's like Zach Morris's brick phone.
Yeah.
I mean, at least hers was a flip, part of a flip down, but...
It's very archaic.
Yeah. So... what is the relationship between Nathan and Ollie and Alex?
Okay, so Ozzy is just kind of friends with them. No, because they call him Oz too. But Ozzy is just friends with Alex, and Alex is the younger brother of Nathan.
Okay, see, I never got that.
He says it. I think Ozzy says something about his brother, and then like when we first meet them, Ozzy says something about Alex's brother, and Alex says, "Oh, Nathan."
Oh.
And
okay. So, Nathan runs a painting company.
It's three guys painting or something.
What the name
yeah.
of it was. And Ollie is
Ozzy.
Dang it, is
I said he's mentally handicapped.
Mental disability. Yeah. But I really liked his.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's just such a sweet guy. So anyway,
that becomes a plot point in the movie.
Yeah, and so pretty much that's all of our characters.
Yeah.
Major characters, major players.
And so, through a series of hearing a voice from the basement, Ozzy ends up accidentally knocking the four-leaf clover off the top of the box with the leprechaun in it.
Doesn't the dad start to open it and then...
It's not the dad, it's Nathan, because Nathan and Tori are both in the basement.
That's right.
And they go to open it, and then they hear Ozzy scream from outside, but it's because
Yes,
Alex was supposed to hold the ladder and didn't, so Ozzy spilled paint on himself.
Yeah. Well, it's not a very good combination of paint. They were painting the house blue and the shutters bright red.
No, and the other thing I thought too was, Alex and Ozzy's relationship felt odd to me.
I didn't like Alex.
That's what I was gonna say, because Alex is kind of a jerk to Ozzy, but then they act like they're best friends.
Right. He's very narcissistic, and it's like Ozzy doesn't know any better, so
yeah.
It's okay.
So Ozzy gets attacked by the Leprechaun, and the Leprechaun threatens to cut off his ear and make it into a shoe, and mentions he's a shoemaker and all this stuff.
Which is one of the funniest parts of this movie. Whenever he sees a shoe, he has to stop and clean it.
Yeah. Which doesn't really come back.
What does at the end?
I mean, it doesn't really come back
in other movies. They
make a reference to it at the beginning of the second one. Because we'll get to it. But other than that, I don't really think they ever bring it back. But so, and another thing I want to mention here is too, there's some discrepancies of what his powers are between the movies, but he says in this movie, when he has his gold, he's more powerful.
Yeah.
So, in this movie, he does not have his gold at the moment, so he can't do as many things. So when he gets his gold back, he can do all this extra stuff. Right. But we find out he was in the crate for 10 years. And, so Oz ends up running out of the house screaming about the Leprechaun. And earlier, when we had first got introduced to Ozzy and Alex, Ozzy was saying, he was talking something about aliens. And so, he already, like we said, he's not all mentally there. And, I don't know if that's the proper terminology. I'm not trying to be rude or diss on anybody or anything. But, people don't take what he says at face value.
Right.
Because he has all these theories and conspiracies and stuff. And so they don't actually believe that there was a leprechaun. So they end up all...
There was a leprechaun in the basement?
It depends on who's telling me.
Okay, if I told you there was a leprechaun in our basement, would you really
You
believe
don't have
me?
a basement.
If I told you there was one in the garage, would you believe me?
Maybe.
I don't think you would.
Possibly. So, Alex, Oz, Tori, and Nathan all go into the basement together to check it. And while they're down there, they hear some noises and stuff, but it turns out it's just a rat. But when they get back outside, they see a rainbow. And so Oz leaves to go chase the or go find the end of the rainbow to find, Leprechaun's gold at the end of a rainbow.
Because the leprechaun said something to him about his pot of gold.
Yeah.
Down in the
I think he asked where his gold was.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so Oz leaves, so Alex ends up following him to go find the end of the rainbow. And they actually do find the end of the rainbow. And it's at an old rusted out truck.
I would love to have that truck.
It's a pretty truck.
Yeah, I'd love to have it.
And so Oz ends up finding one gold coin on the seat. And then as they're kind of looking around, we see magically appear a whole bag of gold that Alex finds.
Right.
Which why did it just appear? That's never really explained.
I'm not sure.
I
don't know. So I didn't take it as it just appeared. I took it as it kind of shimmered and caught his attention.
I'm pretty sure we actually see it fade in.
Because it was behind the seat, so I thought it was just kind of
no, because I think we actually see
okay.
it fades in.
Okay.
I have a couple issues like this with that movie, but they're not really big nitpicks, and they don't really. So anyway, Oz bites the coin he has.
Yeah, Alex tells him that the way to tell if it's real gold is to bite it.
I don't think Alex tells him. I think Oz brings it up. I think he says he saw it on TV.
Oh, I thought Alex did.
And so anyway, we cut away. We don't actually see him do it, but he ends up swallowing it, which I think is funny because we see him put it in his mouth, and then we cut to Alex, and then we cut back, and Oz is like, ugh.
Yeah.
So now that they have the gold, though, Oz proposes that they can buy comics every month when they come out, which I thought was really cute. And then Alex says, "Well, Oz, we can get you an operation to make you smart," is what he says.
That part bothers me because later on.
I know, that's another nitpick I have.
So, should we talk about it now or should we talk about it later on?
I was going to talk about it later, but we can talk about it now.
Okay.
It's in my notes.
Okay.
So
we'll
can
talk about it later.
Okay.
But I did notice that and it bugged me.
But Alex says it's so they can do that so people won't make fun of him anymore.
Yeah.
Which again, Alex is making fun of him.
Alex
and
is
takes
the
advantage.
only one in the whole movie that makes fun of him.
Yeah, and Alex is taking advantage of his mental disability to play tricks on him.
Right. I did not like Alex.
He very much suffers from a trope in a lot of movies in general I see where it's this kid they act too much like an adult.
Yeah.
And he feels like a jaded 40-year-old man,
Right,
not a
right.
junior high kid.
Yeah.
And so we cut back, and Nathan is teaching Tori how to paint the blue paint with the red shutters.
And it's not even like a dark
Oh.
blue. It's like a sky blue.
Yeah. And another thing I want to mention, they have paint on them, like they've been painting, but it's not like they spilled paint on them. There's like perfect lines on their arms.
Right.
And it's like for the entire rest of the movie, they have those lines on there, but it's not like, it doesn't look like they spilled paint on themselves or like splattered on them. It's like lines, like they literally just like took a brush across their arm. Yeah.
When he's yelling about the ladder, the only part there's blue paint is down at the bottom, so if he was up on the ladder, he would have had some up high. I mean, this is just nitpicky stuff, but... So he's teaching her how to paint the shutters. And she says, I need more paint. And so she goes over to his truck to get a can of paint out. And I don't know where Nathan goes. He kind of walks away.
I think he goes, I don't know for sure, but it kind of looks like he walks into the house, because he walks off screen the direction of where the house is.
And so she goes over to the truck and is looking at the paint cans, and something starts rubbing her leg, and she thinks that it's Nathan.
Yeah.
Like, laying underneath the truck, rubbing her leg. Yes, he did that. Just to be able to touch her leg.
So, we see it's Leprechaun. Like, we obviously see that it's the Leprechaun. There's no... But we see that it's the Leprechaun.
So then the dad comes out.
Well, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Her leg gets scratched because we see Nathan come back in the background, and then she...
It's so funny, though, because she's kind of giggling like, Nathan!
And then he's like, what? And then she turns around, or I don't even know if she turns around, but she's like...
I don't think she turned...
Okay, I think she gets scratched first.
I don't know if she turns around, because it's on the back of her leg.
Yeah. But... Anyway, the Leprechaun scratches her leg. And it looks pretty gnarly. Like, they're pretty good claw marks. But, they don't see anything under the car. And then that's when JD comes out. And they hear a cat, like they hear meowing coming from the woods. So they go after it, and JD sticks his hand in this hole. And you know what this reminded me of?
What?
National Treasure.
Oh. Yeah.
Where there's like the secret that leads him, and he puts his hand in the hole, and then he scares them all by screaming. Except in this case, it actually happens.
Yeah.
He puts his hand in the hole and then starts screaming.
Why would you do that if you thought it was a rabid cat?
Exactly.
I mean... So he ends up getting bit really bad.
Yeah, like, hand is entirely ripped up.
Yeah.
And it looks like it again, the effects are pretty good on it.
They are. Like I said, I was pretty impressed with this movie.
I will say, too, one thing I like that they did, it looks like a human bite. Like, it looks like the leprechaun bit him. It doesn't look like a cat bite or anything.
Right.
Like, it looks like a human bit his hand.
Yeah.
So... Alex and Oz get back at some point while they're in here, and they had mentioned earlier that they were going to hide the gold in the well, but we never see that happen on screen. But they get back like right as this is happening, so they all get in the get in the truck to go to the hospital, and then we see the leprechaun come out on his trike.
Such a dorky scene.
Do you want to talk about it?
Oh, you talk about it. I don't remember what he does on his trike this time.
So there's not much happens, but he comes out, like, we just see them leave, and we don't know the leprechaun's going to follow them anything, and we just see him come out on this trike and start riding down the road on this trike.
You see him on that a couple different times.
Yes. And so there's not really much to talk about there, but it's just a funny scene. And I think they realized how absurd the premise was, and they played into that and made it where there's comedic elements, but I don't think it would have worked otherwise. Like, if you tried to play this straight, I don't know if it would be a cult classic like it is.
Like I said, I think it's a horror I think definitely the first one's a horror comedy.
Yeah.
But like you said, parts like him getting bit, like, that's pretty gruesome and kind of scary.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, and I mean, there's language in it, too.
Yeah.
Especially later, because I noticed early on there's not that much language, but then as it goes on, which is cool, because that's kind of how it would be in real life when you get in a stressful situation.
So they take him to the hospital, and then I think we just cut back to them back at the house.
No, they're in town for a while, because they take him to the hospital, and then Alex and Oz, they're riding in like the back of the truck. They leave and go to a
pawn shop or gold dealer.
I wrote down the name of it. Joe's Collectible Coins. It's either that or it's Joe's Collectibles and Coins, but there's no and. But I'm assuming it'd be Collectible and Coins because he has more stuff in the shop than just coins. And so he takes a look at the coin and says it's worth at least $500 for the gold that it's worth, but it might have more value if it's historical. And so he asks the two boys if he can keep it overnight, and they agree, so he keeps it overnight to study it. And then after they leave...
Not to interrupt you, but just to keep everybody on pace, so we've got the one that Ozzy swallowed, the one that's at the pawn shop, or the coin shop, and then everything else is hidden in the well.
Yes.
And we find out there's 100 pieces of gold total.
Yeah, we find that out later.
Yeah.
So then we get a scene where the leprechaun attacks Joe. Do you want to talk about it, or?
So, okay. So how did the leprechaun know where his one piece of gold is, but he didn't know where the other 99, but we know where one's at.
I think he followed the boys.
Oh, okay. So, the leprechaun comes in and wants his gold, and he ends up getting it after he murders the shopkeeper.
Well, do you want to talk about how he murders the shopkeeper? Because this is another kind of comedic moment. Well, the first part's not really comedic, but he bites people a lot in this movie. Yeah. He bites the guy's leg first, so the guy's like on the floor in pain because he just got a big bite out of his leg. And like I said, there's other stuff here than just coins. There's like collectible stuff, like old toys and stuff. So Leprechaun goes and gets a pogo stick, and then plays pogo stick on this man's chest until it's completely demolished.
Yeah. So, there are some gruesome scenes in this movie.
Yeah, but it's... kills like that are what make these movies for me, I think. It's just like fun kills like that. It's like, I never would have thought of that, but that's kind of cool. Like, and I'm pretty sure he's singing while he's doing it too. Like, it's really absurd.
I don't know if he's singing or if he's doing his rhyming stuff.
It's either, yeah.
So
probably.
I don't know if we mentioned this already. I know you said it, but I don't know if it was on the podcast.
I don't remember.
He talks a lot in rhyme.
Yeah. He doesn't always talk in rhyme, but he often does.
Yeah.
And so he ends up getting his coin back, and he shines the man's shoes before he leaves.
Yes.
Which is
so freaking funny. Like, here's this leprechaun that's a murderous leprechaun killing people with a pogo stick, and then he stops and shines their shoes.
I even think he makes a comment of, "Oh, you got blood on your shoes," and then cleans them. Yeah.
Kind of like, we can't have that. We gotta get that off of there.
Oh, we also, before he leaves, we see him look over at this yellow, like, Power Wheel car.
Yeah. And he ends up taking it.
Yeah, but I don't think we see that right here. I think we just see him look over at it. So then we cut back to Tori and Nathan, and they're at a restaurant in town, like a diner. Yes. Tori's upset because they didn't have the salad she wanted, or the drink she wanted.
Whatever, something, and an Evian water.
Yeah.
They don't have that there.
And so Nathan offers her tap water, and she's like...
And he's trying to get her to eat the meatloaf.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm a vegetarian.
So he takes her shoe off, and this was so funny.
Yeah.
He takes her shoe off, and he's like, dead cow right here on the outside of your shoe. So they're, Nathan's eating, and they're waiting on Ozzy and Alex to get there to eat too.
And then we cut back, and we see the leprechaun going in his car, and he gets pulled over by a police officer.
Him in that car, like, it's just so ridiculous.
And I don't know what kind of car it is. But I don't know if it's supposed to be like a back seat or if it's like a truck bed. But he's got a bunch of toys from the shop in the truck bed too. Did you notice that? Like, it's piled up?
Yeah.
Like, there was a stuff, I don't remember if it was a bear or what, but there was a stuffed animal in the front seat, and he put it in like that.
I think it's a bear.
Yeah.
I think it was a stuffed teddy bear.
And so the cop pulls him over and is like, thinks he's a kid.
Yeah.
Which, like, I get at first thinking he's a kid, but then when he talks, he does not sound like a kid.
No, but looks-wise, size-wise, you would think.
Yeah, but
I'm not being judgmental about anybody.
And he says, take that mask off, and that makeup is really good. It does not look like a mask. Yeah. Like, I'm being nitpicky, but I don't know. But anyway, Leprechaun ends up grabbing this man's face.
Well, the detective or the police officer says something about, how old are you? And he says
4,000 years old?
I don't remember what he said. I don't think it's 4,000. Because in the second one, he's only 2,000. I thought it was in the hundreds.
Like, that's the only plot hole between the two?
Oh, well, that's true, too. But anyway, and the cop's like, yeah, right, whatever. So then he grabs the cop. I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying.
No, you're good. He grabs the cop by the face, and
This was pretty gross too.
Yeah, and the cop ends up. I don't know if Lep lets go of his face or what. That's how I referred to the leprechaun in my notes, was Lep. But the cop ends up running through into the woods, and so
Doesn't he kick the leprechaun?
I don't remember.
For some reason, I feel like he kicks him and he hits a tree and then he runs into the woods. Which, why wouldn't you just go back to your police car that was right there?
That was my thought too, because his police car. I think it was still running. I don't think he even took the keys out, and he runs into the woods instead.
Yeah.
And I realized that too. So anyway, Lep ends up chasing him to the woods and says like, "Oh, hide and seek is so fun and stuff," and ends up. I mean, this chase goes on for a minute, and honestly, in my opinion, it could have been shorter. It's kind of. If there's one part of this movie that I felt like really dragged on, it was kind of right here, where he's just kind of chasing through the woods. It doesn't really.
Yes, but it was also kind of a tension building scene, and there's not a lot of these in this movie.
I guess that's true.
Like but... it was one of the more tense scenes of the movie compared to him driving his little car down the road.
And maybe I just have that opinion because I've seen it before, and so. But anyway, Leprechaun ends up catching him and breaks his neck. So. Back at the diner, like Mom said, he pulls off her shoe, and then right about the time he gives it back, Oz and Alex show up, and we don't really get much from that scene. They just kind of are there and they figure out.
Oz starts to say where they were at, and Alex kind of tells him to shut up because they don't want anybody else to know about the gold.
Yeah. So then we cut back to Leprechaun, and he's back at the house, like their house, the one they're fixing up. And he's going through the cabinets, and he's...
I want to add this, too. We didn't say this. The house is out in the middle of nowhere. So there's no neighbors. Yeah. There's no, easy access to the police or anything like that. Oh, my gosh. And when he's going through the cabinet, he pulls out a box of cereal.
I was about to say this.
Oh, okay.
No, you go.
Called Lucky Clover?
No, I think it's just Lucky Charms.
It's Lucky Clover, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Because I was looking at it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and he takes a bite and he spits it out and it's like all these marshmallow, like Lucky Charms marshmallow.
And they like stick to his bottom lip too.
It's so silly.
So anyway, he ends up trashing the house trying to find his gold. And then, while he's at it, he polishes every single shoe in the house and just leaves them on like the table.
Yeah. And they never talk about how weird that is that their shoes are all on the table.
No.
Like, it just kind of...
because I was going to say that, because they come back and they find the house ransacked, and Nathan suggests it could have been a bear. Yes, I love when a bear comes into my house and takes out all my shoes and shines them for me and leaves them perfectly straight, aligned, on the counter.
And Tori even goes over and picks up, like, a blue suede dress shoe of hers and is looking at it.
Yeah.
It never makes a comment that the fact that their shoes are all on the table. And I think Oz might even say it was the leprechaun.
He does. Oz, I put here that Oz brings up the leprechaun. And you know what this... I don't remember exactly what happens, but there's a Looney Tunes segment that's got elves that fix shoes overnight, and I don't remember exactly what happens in it, but I feel like the guy that runs the shoe store pretends to be sick, so the elves do all the work at night, and then he's not actually sick, he's just using them like basically as free slave labor.
Yeah, and that's just like a little snippet in something. Like, it's just like there's a bunch of different little stories together. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, we used to have like a Looney Tunes collection that was like all, like the whole disc was just fairy tale Looney Tunes. Because there was also the Hansel? Okay.
Oh my gosh. When we went down to my husband's friend's house the other day, a couple weekends ago, he has a car and the car's name is George, and he was telling us that when they went to look at it, his wife was like, he was really into this car, and his wife's like, you're gonna hug it and you're gonna squeeze it, and he goes, yep, and I'm gonna name it George. So it's been named George since they bought this car.
I love that.
Sorry, totally random. Another Looney Tunes reference if you don't know.
So do you remember what happens next?
Their shoes are on the table. I know we were talking about that.
They all start working to clean the house.
Yes.
And Nathan talks to Tori about, oh, you did a really good job. And Tori acts like she's never seen a broom before in her life. Like, this is the first time.
If because he smarts something off about her knowing how to use it when he hands it to her. So I didn't know if she was just being sarcastic back.
I don't know.
Or if she know, because she says something about, well, I'm finally getting the hang of it or something. So I didn't know if she was just being...
Maybe she is. And maybe I'm just...
like, what's that word? Snarky back to him. Or if she actually had never used a broom before.
Another thing is, their relationship never felt forced. like, I don't even know if I'd say they had, like, great chemistry, because it wasn't, like, that, it wasn't, because a lot of times when people say that, it's, like, they're, like, ripped roaring to be in each other's arms, but they just have, like, a comfortable, like,
Yeah.
they almost have, like, that kind of love you have when you're in a marriage and you've been with a person for a long time and you're just kind of comfortable around them. That kind of how
like,
how
best
they feel.
friend type. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like,
they just feel comfortable with each other.
Somebody that you, I mean, there's very few people in life you meet and you just kind of click, and it feels like they did that.
And they kind of.
And I don't know if we said this. We may have already said this, but Dad is. They're keeping him overnight in the hospital for observation, so he is not coming home tonight.
So Nathan ends up getting lured outside, and I didn't write down how or why. Do they just hear noises? Because I think he takes the gun out.
Don't they hear something scraping against the outside of the house?
I think so. And so I think he ends up, like, he takes a shotgun out there.
Yeah.
But, so he ends up falling and getting his leg stuck in a bear trap.
Oh, which is another pretty gruesome.
And as this happens, the leprechaun comes out to taunt him. And again, this stupid leprechaun is so, like, I love him. Like, it's just, I love Warwick Davis, and I love this character. Like, it's just, it's crazy, but it's like, and I don't even know, what accent does he have?
It's supposed to be Irish.
Because it doesn't sound Irish fully.
It's supposed to be Irish.
Does it sound Irish to you? Am I...
Sometimes. I mean...
It kind of sounds like nondescript, like, European.
Yeah.
Anyway, which I'm pretty sure Warwick Davis is actually British, if I remember correctly. Not that it's important, but so then the other three come out as Lep is doing this, and the leprechaun latches onto Nathan's leg and bites him pretty bad.
Yes, he's from England.
Okay, and so Oz ends up going back into the house, and he calls the police saying there's a leprechaun and they need to send the Navy and the Army and whatever else.
And like you said, it was Oz that called.
Yes. So we get a scene at the police station where the police are talking about how, oh, Oz called again, and they asked what it was this time, if it was aliens again, and he says, no, this time it's a leprechaun. And so they don't believe him. So Nathan ends up fighting the leprechaun off with the shotgun. I don't remember how he gets him off the leg. I don't know if he smacks him with the back of the shotgun, but he ends up shooting Leprechaun in the chest. And I just wanted to point out that the Leprechaun does have green blood. I thought that was cool. It's like neon green.
Knocked him off with something.
Maybe. I don't remember. But
I think Tori knocks him off with something and then he shoots him.
But he ends up blasting the Leprechaun in the chest with the shotgun, and the Leprechaun falls back into bushes. But he had blood, and it reminded me of the blood from Predator. Like the neon green.
Yeah. And you know one thing I really did like about this movie? I have a lot of issues with movies where somebody gets hurt and then, like, the next scene they forget that they're hurt. Yeah. And we don't have that with him. Like, they get the bear trap off of his leg.
But he's, like, limping for the rest of the movie. He limps
the rest of the movie. It's not like, oh, well, it was just a little scratch.
Or, like, when the dad gets bit with the hand, they don't just, like, wrap it up and, like, leave it there. They take him to the hospital.
Right. Like, it's very...
realistic.
It's a Leprechaun movie. But, yeah, it's realistic when it comes to the injuries, because... I hate it when somebody gets hurt and then 5 minutes later in the movie you're like, that's either the wrong arm or leg, or you wouldn't be able to use it that way.
So Oz comes out, I think, on the front porch and tells them that he called the police.
Right.
And Tori's like, please don't tell me you said anything about a leprechaun. And he goes, yeah, of course I told them about the leprechaun. And so they end up, I think Alex... I don't remember. Well, they end up getting Nathan back inside. Well, they all get back inside.
Doesn't Nathan go over to see where the leprechaun went and he's gone?
I don't... Not that I wrote down. Because Nathan can't walk right now, so he has to have the others help him.
They all went over there together and he was
I don't remember that. Okay. But maybe they do.
Maybe that's later.
So they get Nathan inside and they kind of patch him up, and Tori tries to call the police to get an ambulance out there. Or call emergency services to get an ambulance out there. And they end up taking Nathan back outside of the truck. And I don't know where in here we get it, but they still don't think he's a leprechaun. They still don't believe Ozzy that it's a leprechaun. Yet.
So, this is where she tries her cell phone because the house phone's not working anymore. Right? Because she tries. Is this one, or is it the second one where she tries to use the house phone and his tongue comes out of the phone?
His tongue doesn't come out of the phone.
His hand
Yeah.
comes out of the phone.
The tongue is
Freddy.
Yeah.
Is that this one?
It's not yet, but yes,
Okay.
It is this one.
Okay. Well, you said she tried to call for help, so I thought
from the house phone, and she says the line's dead.
Okay, gotcha.
So they get Nathan to the truck, and they're going to take him to the hospital, and the truck won't start, which had already been alluded to earlier, because they had to, I don't know what they say.
The distributor cap.
Yeah, and so when they left earlier, Alex had to run up there and do something. So he's kind of nervous to do it this time, and he gets up there and opens the hood, and Leprechaun's in there holding a piece of the truck.
And he's got, like, wires, like, he's chewing on the wires.
That's what it is. He's not holding it. It's in his mouth.
It's like, and I thought that scene, I don't know why, but that scene made me laugh so hard. Because he's just like, you know, he's a little person. So here he is in the hood of the truck just with all these wires. He's like, rah! It was just so funny.
And so Alex runs back around the side of the truck and gets back in. And so they're kind of hiding in there. And then the leprechaun jumps up. The leaps. The leprechaun jumps up and breaks through the windshield and bites into Ozzy's ear. And Tori uses like the car lighter, and she pushes it in and waits for it while he's chewing on his ear, and then it hits the leprechaun right in the nose with it.
Poor Ozzy.
Which most cars don't even have those anymore. Mine does.
I think my Jeep does. I don't know if I have the lighter part, but I know I have it might have one.
Mine actually has like the lighter part.
Mine might. I might have got rid of it because I use it for a plug-in.
Yeah. Anyway, the leprechaun runs off again, and we see him run into the barn. And he comes out in like a modified go-kart. Yes. Like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like he stripped the car, like he took the plastic stuff off and like added all this stuff on, or if it's just like he completely built this cart at some point.
I don't know.
Because I kind of thought it was maybe the car, and he just took like the plastic off, and but it's funny to me to think about, like, because he could have used magic, I'm sure, but like I said, he doesn't have his full magic because he didn't have the gold right now. So it's funny for me to imagine that, like, while all this other stuff is going on, like after he killed the guy and he got back to the house, he was just in the barn, like welding all this stuff together. Because there's like a pitchfork on the front of it and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah.
Because I think if it was magic, it would probably be a little more sophisticated than just like a pitchfork welded to the front.
I don't know. It's him. Or do you really think he's sophisticated?
Well, he's good at rhyming.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Sometimes.
He's good at keeping his shoes clean.
That's true.
So our heroes end up running back into the house, and I was writing notes at this point, so I don't know exactly what happens. I don't know if they get his hand in the door or what, but his hand gets cut off.
Yes, they shut his hand in the door.
Okay. But he just picks it up and runs off with it.
No. His hand is inside the house.
No, he picks it up and runs off with it.
No, it's inside the house.
He picks it up and runs off with it.
It's inside the house, and it crawls up the door and opens the doorknob.
I didn't see this part.
And then goes out and taps on him, and then he runs off with it.
Like I said, I was taking notes. So
Which I thought was funny, because I'm like, it kind of reminded me of Sam's hand in Trick or Treat.
Yeah. Well, it also, Evil Dead 2, Ash's hand is like infected and evil, and he cuts it off, and then it's running around the movie the whole time.
Yeah.
And which it's not even just like his hand though, because it's got a good chunk of his forearm too. In this movie, not in Evil Dead.
Right.
And this is when Tori calls the police from her cell phone, and.
But she tries from the house phone, right?
No, she tried that earlier.
But when does the hand come out of the phone? Later?
That's later.
Okay.
The phone rings and she answers
That's
it.
right.
Is that?
Is that this one or is it the second one?
It might be the second one.
I think it's the second one.
Okay.
Okay. Ignore all that about the phone.
Yeah. So the police contact someone that's already out there, and guess who they contact? The cop that Leprechaun killed. So we actually get this cool scene because we see inside the police station like we did earlier when Ozzy called, but this time dispatch calls out to an officer, and I don't think we ever heard the guy's name before. I didn't write it down. But so we just hear him. It takes him a minute to answer, and then he finally does answer, and he's like, "Oh, I can take care of it. I'll let you know if I need any backup." And then we cut, and it's Leprechaun talking through the guy's radio. And I thought that was cool because we already established earlier in the movie like he can copy people's voices and stuff like that. So I thought it was a cool way to use that.
But he has the dead cop's body back in the car with him.
In the passenger seat. Yeah. And
so you think he was strong enough? You just carried him back to the car?
Either that or like magic.
That's true.
I think it's in The Simpsons or Futurama that they're like, if something can't be explained, a wizard did it.
Or a leprechaun in this case.
Okay, and I wrote down Tori still doesn't believe it's a leprechaun until Ozzy brings up the fact that him and Alex had found the gold. And so Alex ends up admitting that it's in the bucket of the well. Which, I don't know how admitting that there was gold changes your mind completely that it's a leprechaun or not.
Not after everything you've seen. I mean,
yeah.
You saw the leprechaun.
Yeah. You saw him get shot in the chest, bleed green blood, and then come out of the barn in a go-kart he made.
Right. And it's not like it was Halloween where somebody would be running around in a costume.
Well, and they're not going to be running around in a bulletproof costume.
Oh, that's true.
And
so
Alex...
this is kind of what we alluded to earlier that bothered me. Because if you remember...
Alex brings up the operation thing.
Well, if you remember earlier, Alex told Ozzy that they didn't want to tell anybody about the gold.
Because they could save it for an operation.
So then you can talk about what happens here.
Yeah, so Tori tells Alex that Ozzy can't be fixed with an operation, and Alex is like, I know, but Ozzy doesn't know that. So why did you bring it up in the first place? Why did you tell him that? Why did you give him hope of any kind?
Because he wanted to use it for comic books, and
yeah.
Alex is like, no, we could fix it.
And there's nothing wrong with him.
Right.
Like...
I think he's such a sweet character.
Yeah, and they kind of bring that back around at the end of the movie, but there's nothing wrong with Ozzy.
Right.
Like, a lot of people that have, like, mental issues like that, they don't want to be quote-unquote fixed. They're happy how they are. And that's like...
there wasn't any... It wasn't...
Like, people with autism even.
I mean, it wasn't anything really severe that Ozzy had. He was just kind of... childlike.
He was kind of mentally stunted, is what I would probably say.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, but that part really bothered me that Alex is like, well, I know that, but he doesn't. Well, then why did you...
Why did you bring it up in the first place? Yeah. That feels like maybe that was like something that was changed in the script and wasn't changed both places or something like that, because it doesn't make sense for him to have brought it up and then...
Yeah. Unless he was telling her that to make it seem like it was Ozzy's idea, so he wouldn't get in trouble for keeping the gold a secret.
Yeah, but I don't know why he would do that at this point.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out.
I know.
Make it make sense.
So Tori ends up going outside of the well alone, and she ends up finding the gold.
She takes the shotgun with her.
Yes.
And I think this scene was so funny to me because Nathan says, have you ever used a gun before? And she like, what's it called? Like cocks the gun? Or racks around or whatever. And she's like, nope. And I'm like, you did that like a professional, but you've never done it before.
I've never shot a shotgun like that, but I'd imagine I don't think it would be super easy to pull back like that. I think it would take some force.
I would think so too.
But I don't know. Anyway, so Tori ends up going to the well and she ends up getting the gold. She uses the crank to get the bucket up and gets the gold out. And like immediately the leprechaun appears. And so she gives it to him and he scurries off. And we see him at like a junkyard or something.
I thought he was back at the pickup truck from before.
I think you might be right. But he ends up counting the gold and he only counts 99. So he's missing one.
And we all remember where that one is.
Yes. So, back at the house, I don't remember what he's looking for, but Alex goes to open the fridge. I don't know if they're just looking for food? Or if there's a... But anyway, he opens the fridge and guess who comes out? Leprechaun. He jumps right out of the fridge. And I don't. Again, I was taking notes when this happened, so I don't know exactly what happens here. But his hand ends up on the stove, like on a burner, and then he gets a spatula to peel it off.
I think Tori put his hand out.
Okay.
I could
But
be wrong.
that's also pretty gross.
Yeah.
And I think he makes a joke about it too. And I'm like, if my hand is burning, I don't think I'm able to make jokes about it.
I don't remember what he says, but it was funny.
Yeah. And so then he just kind of teleports around messing with them, like in different cabinets and stuff.
And Nathan's got the shotgun and keeps trying to shoot him.
Yeah. And he eventually ends up shooting the leprechaun, and the leprechaun just kind of shrugs it off. Which, again, I wonder if that is... Well, he kind of goes down for a second. But then they're like, is he dead? And they're poking him and stuff, and then he gets back up.
Double tap, shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
I don't know if shooting him in the head would work with the leprechaun, but...
And then I wrote here Lep on skateboard, so at some point he's like down a hallway and he comes out on a skateboard and rides back and forth as they're shooting at him like it's a shooting gallery.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh.
And the cabinet thing back and forth in the kitchen's kind of like whack-a-mole. Where
it is this movie. The phone rings.
Okay, there we go.
Tori answers it, and she's like, oh, thank gosh, someone's finally getting through to us. And it's Leprechaun, and he's like, where's my gold at? And then she ends up unplugging it from the wall and throwing it on the floor, and it rings again. So she answers it again. Why would you answer it again if you already know that that's what it is? So she answers it again, and this little gross baby hand comes out.
It's so gross.
It doesn't even look like Leprechaun's hand whenever he actually has his hand. It's like this little tiny baby hand.
Yes, comes out of the phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, imagine the Deadpool's baby hand from the first Deadpool movie if it was aged like 2,000 years. Like, it's so gross. It's like a mummy hand.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
And it does, like you said, it does remind me of Freddy Krueger with the tongue.
Yeah.
So, at this point is when Ozzy brings up that this is the O'Grady farm. I mean, it's been talked about previously in the movie that this is the O'Grady farm. Like, people keep mentioning that, and that's what they all call it. And, but he mentions that O'Grady is still alive after a stroke, and he's in, like, a nursing home.
So is this when Ozzy's saying it's his fault because he's got the other coin? Or he doesn't admit that yet?
No.
Okay.
Not that I wrote.
So then they decide that Tori is going to go to the nursing home and talk to O'Grady and see what she can find out.
Another thing, I don't understand why he's so stuck on Tori, the leprechaun, I mean. Unless it's because she's the one that gave him the rest of the gold back, so he feels like she's the one that duped him. But I don't... They never say that, but that's the only reason I could think of that he would be so stuck on her specifically.
She was also the only girl.
Yeah, but we don't really know his girl tendencies until the next movie.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. It's a good question. So... her dad's Jeep is still there, and so she tells the guy she has an idea. And so they go outside, and she goes for the Jeep, and the guy starts throwing shoes all over the yard.
Because she had packed her suitcase earlier to leave, and it's in the back of the car, right? And so that's where they're getting the shoes from.
I don't know, because the shoes were on the table when they got home, and I know they throw one of the blue shoes out there.
See, and I thought it was... I don't know. Do they take the box of shoes out there with them?
I think so.
I thought they were just in the back of the Jeep.
I think one of the guys takes them.
Okay.
But anyway, this was probably my favorite scene in the whole movie, because they're checking shoes out as she's trying to get away, and the leprechaun's like running around cleaning all these different shoes.
Well, it's like, I mean, what that reminded me of too, because a lot of the leprechaun stuff is based off of like actual like myths and legends and stuff, and it did kind of remind me of how, like, vampires, if you spill rice, they have to count every grain before they can walk past it. Or, I think in some cases it's salt and stuff like that kind of thing. And that's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah. I just thought it was so funny that he's... And I'm not making fun of him as a person, but with those short little legs, him running around trying to get, like...
He grabs a shoe and cleans it and then throws it behind him.
Right, and then goes and, like, you know, like, what would be a step for us is, like, half a football field for him, and... It's just, they did such a good job making this movie funny.
And so, she ends up peeling out in the Jeep, and...
I liked that Jeep.
Lep follows them on roller skate. Follows her on roller skates. And then ends up crashing through a fence. And it's literally like a cartoon where it's an exact outline of him.
Yes, and I thought that part was so funny. And then when he comes back through, he has to go back through, like, the way that he crashed through the fence.
So anyway, Tori ends up getting to the nursing home, and the guard is asleep, so she ends up getting past him, and she gets to O'Grady's room, and she starts talking to him, and he's in a wheelchair with his back to her, and then it's revealed it's not actually O'Grady, it's Leprechaun. Because she's like, oh, will you tell me the weakness of the Leprechaun? And he's like, no, and then turns around and it's Leprechaun.
Yeah.
So Tori ends up running from the Leprechaun, and at the last second manages to close the elevator, which I don't think there was actually enough time between when the Leprechaun was going to get to her and when the elevator closed. He was way too close for her to be able to close the elevator.
Well, I thought it was kind of funny that because you said he was sitting in a wheelchair. Well, he chases her in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't get out and run after her.
Yeah.
He chases her in the wheelchair.
Which, again, goes into, like, the funny beats of this movie.
Right.
But as she's in the elevator, the real O'Grady crashes through the elevator roof.
Yes.
And I couldn't tell, because, to me, I don't think it makes sense to him just, like, randomly being sitting on the roof and then his head coming through the thing. I think the Leprechaun threw him down the elevator shaft.
So too.
Okay. I was going to ask if you got that implication, too. But, he's, like, got blood coming out of his mouth, like he's on the brink of death. And he manages to tell Tori that if you get a 4-leaf clover on his body, you can kill him. Which, if that's the case, when he had the 4-leaf clover, why did he just put him in a crate and didn't actually, like, try to put it in his pocket or something?
I think he did at first. And that's how he knocked him out.
Okay.
And that's how he got him in the crate.
I thought he just shot him to get him in the crate.
Maybe he did.
Because he's not like, he won't die from it, but you can shoot him with a bullet and it knocks him out for a minute.
Yeah.
So, he also ends up telling her that there's a 4-leaf clover patch near the well at the house.
Yes.
So, we just kind of cut back to her being in the clover patch. And the lighting here is so weird, because they just have, like, this green light on this patch of grass, but it's also on her because she's in that patch.
Yeah.
And it was just...
It was supposed to be the headlights from the Jeep that were lighting it up.
Why are they green?
Well, I know, but I know what you're saying, but I'm saying it's supposed to be...
I didn't understand that.
Well, the Jeep headlights weren't green. I'm just saying that's where the light was supposedly coming from, because it's dark.
Yeah, but it's almost like the direction of the light is from, like, the well,
I know,
which is to
what
the
I'm
side.
saying.
Yeah, because it lights up like our left side.
Yeah.
So here she is on her hands or knee looking through this patch of clovers to try to find a 4-leaf one, and then Leprechaun comes out and ends up chasing her, and she runs through the woods for a bit and then finds a road, and on that road she finds a police car, and she's like, oh, thank gosh, and runs over to it, and she finds the dead cop in the passenger seat after she climbs in. And when the Leprechaun gets there...
How did you not notice that there's a dead cop in the passenger seat?
I mean, the excuse is she's under pressure and she's running. She's probably not. Like, she thinks she's being chased.
That's true, I guess.
So she ends up taking the baton off the police officer's body and ends up sticking it through the Leprechaun's eye.
So she actually
the baton actually was set up earlier because the police takes out the baton when he's being chased earlier.
Yeah.
And so it's not like that comes out of nowhere. So I thought that was cool. There's a lot of good foreshadowing in this.
So she starts in the driver's seat, but then when the Leprechaun comes up to the car, she climbs over the back. And I thought
doesn't she stab him in the eye with the baton and then she crawls into the back?
I think so. Something. But anyway, I thought it was so funny because here's this little Leprechaun and he's strong enough to rip the car door completely off the car. Which may answer my question about carrying a cop.
There you go. So, Leprechaun ends up stealing the dead guy's eye to replace his own.
That part was gross too.
Yeah, he like rips out the guy's eye and then puts it in his own eye.
What does he say to her afterward?
An eye for an eye.
Yeah.
And then he gets hit from behind with a shotgun blast from Nathan. And I don't...
Have you ever seen a police car that doesn't have the front seat and the back seat separated?
No. Never.
Okay, I haven't either.
I don't know if... I mean, this was 1993. I don't know if smaller towns maybe they didn't have it separate. I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't... No. I don't think that's realistic, but...
Yeah, I didn't think so either, but...
So we see Alex pick up the bear trap, and Nathan and Tori come back, and Tori ends up finding a clover after Oz makes this whole speech about we just have to believe.
Which I thought was really sweet.
Yes,
I really did like that scene. Because she's like, this is hopeless. And he's like, no, you just have to believe. And she pulls up a handful. And she's like, fine, I believe. And then she looks at it and there's a four-leaf clover.
You just gotta believe. Okay.
I believe. I believe.
I believe this is yours. So Alex is going to the barn. I don't really understand what he was trying to do here. He picks up the bear trap and then he walks into the barn.
He said he was going to catch the leprechaun.
Does he say that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Leprechaun finds him in the barn and tries to shove his head in the bear trap. Like, gets him on the ground and is trying to shove his head in the bear trap.
To the bear trap. It actually kind of freaked me out because I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to see his head get snapped.
Well, because his head does touch the bear trap, just not the piece that makes it snap shut. But it touches, like, the outside, but not enough for it to actually, like, hurt him. Then Oz comes over and screams that he swallowed the coin, which gets the attention onto him. And Alex ends up getting the four-leaf clover from Tori, has gum in his mouth, takes the gum, it sticks the four-leaf clover in the gum, gets out a slingshot, and then launches it into the leprechaun's mouth.
Which I thought was such a cool way to get it on there.
Yeah. While the leprechaun is, like, beating the crap out of Ozzy. Yeah. Which is also sad. Like,
it says something about cutting his stomach open to get the coin.
And he, like, the leprechaun, like, melts. It's kind of gross.
Yes.
It reminds me of, like, in, like, the 2002 He-Man, after Skeletor gets the acid on his face is, like, melting. And I don't think you actually see it until, I think it's Out of the Past, I want to say, where you get, like, a flashback, and it's, like his top and bottom gum have, like, melted together and stuff. Like, it's gnarly. They have a new Eternia figure of Keldor that has the melting face I have, and it looks pretty cool.
So he's in the well, right?
Yes, he falls down the well, and then we get our one last scare that I think they talk about it in Scream, don't they? Where the killer always comes back for one last scare. Mm. He crawls back out of the well, and he's still all, like, gross and melted and stuff. But Nathan...
part of it kind of reminded me of, the Santa Claus in that one Christmas movie we did.
Which one?
The robot Santa.
Christmas Bloody Christmas.
Yeah, just when he's kind of melted and gross.
So Nathan ends up knocking the leprechaun back down the well, and then pours gasoline down the well, and then drops a match, which causes an explosion. And then the police show up, and then the leprechaun gives us a last rhyme about how he's gonna come back or something. I didn't actually write it down, but and that's how it ends.
So very good movie. I actually was not expecting to like it.
I really like it.
When Dawson first suggested doing these, I was like,
I think
we'll do one or two.
Well, I think what really kind of turned you off from them is hearing that, like, there's Leprechaun in space and Leprechaun in the hood.
Right.
Like, not even in the hood, it's in the hood, I'm pretty sure. Like, it's... I think, don't quote me on that, but, like... I'll say, they get pretty stupid, but they play into the stupidity, so it's not like... They know what they're doing. They know how absurd it is. And you can see that just from the first movie with him, like, riding the skateboard and the Power Wheels car and, like, all that stuff. Like, it just, like... Yeah.
But it's also not...
It's
stupid funny, stupid horror, but it's not, like, scary movie stupid horror, you know?
No, not at all. And it still reads as a horror movie. Yeah. It's not like a... Yeah. It's a horror movie with comedy elements. It doesn't even feel like it's really like a horror comedy. Like, it's just, it feels like a horror movie with comedy elements, in my opinion.
I wouldn't say that about the second one, though. Are we ready to dive into the second one?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so Leprechaun 2.
Before we start this, I cannot believe I didn't say this at the beginning of the episode. We went and saw Send Help this past weekend. Freaking phenomenal movie.
What is that one?
So it's got Rachel McAdams in it, and she's this mousy office worker, and her boss is just a horrible guy, and they end up getting stranded on a deserted island together because their plane crashes. And I'm not going to tell you anything else more about it, but, like, 5 stars.
Is it a horror movie?
Yes.
Okay.
And I went into it not knowing what it was about. I knew that basic what I told you. And we're watching it, and I'm like, this is, like, romancy type stuff. And then it just all went to heck, and I'm like, this is, like, the best movie I've seen in a long time. So probably the best one I've seen since Weapons.
So, Leprechaun 2, we start an island once upon a time. We don't get like an exact year,
Right.
but it's 1,000 years before when the
Our
movie
main
came out.
story.
Which the movie came out in 1994.
So it was 994.
Yeah, because I think it was, I think it was like the first three was 1994, 1993, 1994, 1995, and then I think it was like 1997, and then I think 2000, and then I think 2003, maybe? I don't know. They came out every year for a while, and then they like skipped a year, and then skipped a few years. And then, like I said, like we've said before, we're just doing the 6 original Leprechaun movies. We're not doing Origins or...
So it was 93, 94, 95, 96, 2000, and 2003.
Yes.
Oh, he was in Willow. I didn't know he was in Willow.
But we're not doing Leprechaun Origins or Leprechaun Returns, which do not have Warwick Davis in them. But anyway, so we start out and we see a man running through the woods, and he has a collar on from Leprechaun. And this is what I said, where this is the only reference, as far as I remember, this is the only reference in this movie to his shoe thing. In this movie, he says, "Oh, you got your shoes dirty."
Right, yeah.
And so we find out that Leprechaun is turning 1,000, and that means that he can finally marry. So if a woman sneezes 3 times with no one saying "bless you," she will be wed to him. Which I don't really know exactly how that works, or if there's actual magic behind it, or if it's just his own stupid crap he made up.
That's your guess is as good as mine on that one.
Because it's not like they're like, because what we see later, we can talk about it when we get to it, but it's just, it doesn't seem like this is like an actual hard set rule that like the woman is like in love with him or first forced to be married with him or anything, because of stuff that happens later. So I don't really understand what it does other than it just confirms that he's married to him in his mind,
I guess.
So we find out that the slave's name is William, and he will be freed when the Leprechaun marries. So he's very excited about that, and he's like, "I'll help you, Leprechaun, no matter what. Like, I'll help you through this."
He says his freedom is worth more than anything else to him.
But then he realizes Leprechaun has chosen his daughter to be his bride.
Yes.
So he changes his mind, and...
Is she the same... Is the daughter played by the same girl that plays Bridget?
I thought so, but I didn't check. So he uses his magic to make her sneeze twice, and then the third time when she sneezes, William says "bless you," and then immediately starts running off into the woods.
Yes, it's the same actress. Her name is Siobhan Durkin.
So, do you want to talk for a while? I've been talking.
Did you tell her? Did you say that if she? I know you said if she sneezes 3 times, but if somebody says "bless you,"
yes, yeah, I
it
said
stops
that.
the curse or whatever.
Yeah.
So, the leprechaun catches William and kills him, and the daughter hears him scream maybe or something, and goes running into the woods, and she finds her father, and that's how this part
Well, before
ends.
Leprechaun kills him, he curses his bloodline.
That's true.
And says, "In 1,000 years, I'll marry your descendant."
Yes. And so that's...
Which he says, like, "I curse your loins" and stuff, which I understand he's probably just being, like, what is that called? Like,
it rhymed with...
hyperbole.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, it's not like Let kills him here, so it's not like he's gonna have more children.
Right.
So he's not really cursing his loins, but I mean he's cursing his his descendants, like through his daughter most likely.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's, I mean, she finds her father's body, and that's pretty much where this scene ends.
Yeah.
So then it's modern day.
Well, we get like the open credit sequence. We get like him looking.
Cool.
Yeah, we get him looking at like a tapestry, or not a tapestry, but like I guess a scroll, like an old weathered scroll that's got like the lineage.
It's basically a family tree, but it's just the women.
Yes, and it shows like here's when they migrated over the United States and stuff.
And it was so cool because it was like actually through time, like they were dressed differently for each era, and it was really neat. That was a really cool scene.
So now we're in modern day, and we're in LA, and
we meet Cody.
Yes.
And
We meet Bridget and Cody.
I never could kind of really get a hold on how old they were.
I think they're supposed to be like early 20s was kind of what I got.
But Cody, they say Cody only has a driver's permit and not a license. Because I was
But
thinking early
I wonder
20s.
if California laws are different.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know, because like here where we live, you take the test whenever you're in high school. It's part of the curriculum. But like the state over from us, it's not. So I don't know how that. And again, this is what 1994 we said.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the laws were back then.
But so I thought the same thing, that they were like early 20s, late teens, early 20s. But then when they said that, I didn't know.
I took that as like California law. Probably you don't, like, you have to pay extra for classes and stuff. But I don't know that for sure. But that would make sense because like I'm pretty sure Victorious takes place in California, and there's like this whole thing where Tori doesn't have her license. So I wonder if in California you have to pay out of pocket to take the classes or whatever and get your permit and stuff.
So Cody is out on the street hustling. So my buddy in California said you get a permit at 15, but you have to be 18 to get a full license.
Okay. So we also find out, well, okay, so what you're saying about Cody, he works for Darkside Tours, which is just like...
by his Uncle Morty.
Yes, and it's basically just a hearse.
They supposedly take people around Los Angeles to haunted...
To show them the dark side of Los Angeles that the news doesn't even tell you.
Right. So like the haunted stuff that you wouldn't see on a normal tour.
Yeah. But not even necessarily haunted, though, because I think some of it's just like... I mean, I don't know if haunted, like tragedies and stuff. Like, this is where someone dies, so maybe not even necessarily haunted, but... So... Anyway, they go to find Morty because Cody swindles some people for $300, I think they say, like, total, between all of them. And so they go to find Morty, and they're going to go into this bar, and there's a ladder, and they're doing something. And we find out here that Bridget is superstitious.
Who was the lady that got in the hearse in the front seat? Not the front seat, but they didn't get in the back of the hearse. She looked so familiar. The
guy looked familiar too.
The lady in the white shirt looked
I know who you're
so
talking about,
familiar.
but I don't know what she was from. I thought the guy looked really familiar.
I thought it was funny that he leaves those people in that car for so long. Like,
I know, I would have left. Like, I mean, I guess they paid for it, so they're kind of on the hook. But...
They were in there for who knows how long, and just... I don't know, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, because he tells them, like, oh, I'm going to go get your driver, Morty. He'll be with you in a second. And then he leaves, and so... I was like, oh, is he just, like, swindling them out of money? Like, he's just gonna leave, and then...
Well, that's what I thought. Like, maybe it's not really even his car.
Yeah,
like, maybe he's not associated with it at all.
But no, he goes in the bar and finds Morty, who is, like, an older man, and you said he's Uncle Morty?
Yeah.
I never got that, but I
thought he was. So she was in, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
And this is the woman that is going on the tour.
Yes.
So she's not in the movie very much.
She's not, but I liked her.
Yeah.
She was funny.
And what about the guy that was like her husband?
Let's see. So they go into the bar, and...
Morty's at the counter drunk.
Drunk.
And he's trying to sell a piece of his company, Darkside Tours, to a guy who is passed out.
He was in How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
That makes sense.
He was in Terrifier 3.
I know him from Grinch.
Yes. He's trying to sell shares in his company to this guy that's passed out on the bar.
Yeah. And so Morty and Cody kind of have a talk in the bathroom, and Cody's like, this isn't going to work. You can't drive like this. So Cody ends up...
He can't even stand up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said this or not, but Cody and Bridget were supposed to be going on a date.
I didn't say that yet. They're supposed to be meeting their friends to do
Go-kart.
go-karting. Yeah. So Cody ends up giving the tour and tells Bridget, "Oh, hey, we don't have to take the bus," and that's how he frames it to her, which is kind of rude.
Yeah.
But they end up doing the tour, and
I thought it was so funny though because he asks her for a certain card for something, and he starts talking, and it's like completely different from where they're at.
Yes.
He's like, "You gave me the wrong card."
I know, but before you say that, I want to say when they're first in the car and he's doing it, he's announcing like a DJ over the thing, and it reminded me of the scene in Hocus Pocus where they're in the school
Yep.
and he's talking through the intercom.
He reminded me a lot of Thackeray, or not Thackeray.
Mac.
Mac.
No, is Max the girl?
No, Max is the boy.
Okay.
Max and Danny, and then
Yep.
Allison.
Yeah, Max and Danny are both like very gender neutral names, and so I always kind of get them mixed up in my head. I mean, because of that movie, not just like I don't get mixed up two random names.
Sure, Dawson, sure.
So their last stop is Harry Houdini's mansion ruins. All that's left is stairs.
You can't skip over the lady that comes out and yells at them.
Oh well, you can talk about that.
I don't remember whose house they're supposedly at, but she comes out with a bucket of water and throws it on the windshield of the window of the car of the hearse, and she's like, "My husband's not dead. He's in there and he's sick, but he's not dead. You stop coming around my neighborhood." Everyone, she's like a heavy-set black lady, and just so funny. I loved her character. We needed more of her.
So at the Harry Houdini place where there's just the stairs, they're all looking out the window at these stairs, and then they get scared because this homeless man comes up. And I kind of got the impression that he knows that tour comes through and he does it every time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like he gets paid by them or he just does it because he thinks it's funny. But we kind of follow him for a minute then. And he kind of goes up the stairs to where the mansion used to sit. And there's this old tree there that has a plaque on it it was a gift from Ireland somewhere along the line.
Yeah, for Harry Houdini.
Yeah, or to Harry Houdini.
4 is what I said.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I was actually kind of impressed that on the tour they actually went there, because after the black lady came out, I thought maybe they were just making stuff up on the tour. So I was kind of impressed that it actually was tied to Harry Houdini.
But I mean, I'm just going to talk about this now because I don't think it's a big deal. Later, whenever he finishes, like he tells Bridget this is the last stop. Well, then they go. I'm spoiling a little bit, but then they go to the go-kart place, and he tells the tour 10-minute break to go pee. And then I don't think we ever see them again.
We don't.
So did they just leave without them and like?
I don't know. I think the 10-minute.
Oh no, because I think Cody ends up finishing the tour, and I think Bridget stays because she gets a ride home from someone else.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right, because they want to just go back to where he picked him up.
Maybe then he's not saying this is actually the last stop. Maybe he's saying last stop before we get to the.
I took it as last stop, and then we're going back to where I picked people up at.
Okay.
And the bathroom break thing was just so he could go after Bridget. Like, I don't think there was actually supposed to be a bathroom break.
Yeah. No, I know. I got that. I just mean he said this is the last stop and then went, like...
Right.
And then, but he didn't tell the people that the tour was over.
Yeah.
So, like, I think they're going to be mad.
Yeah.
So the homeless guy is up by the tree, and he's drinking something. It's
some kind of
Canadian... whiskey or something.
I think that's what he says.
So he lays down by that Irish tree, and the alcohol bottle like gets pulled under the tree like magically.
And I want to say this. We should have said this at the beginning. This movie in no way ties into the first one.
Other than Warwick Davis being Leprechaun.
So that's what I kind of started to say when we were talking about the first one. Is you had said people have a theory that.
Yeah, some people headcanon.
That it's different leprechauns that we're following. They just all look the same.
Yeah.
Which I like that idea.
Yeah.
Because it makes it flow better than nothing from the first movie happened.
Yeah. I just don't know why then they would all have different weaknesses. Because that's another thing throughout the movies. He, like, never has a consistent weakness.
Well, I mean, if they were different leprechauns, maybe they have different weaknesses.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know.
Anyway, so then we see the tree kind of, I think it glows like orange, and then it cracks open. And this reminded me of Ernest Scared Stupid. But Leprechaun comes out of the crack, and he drinks some of the alcohol, and then spits it out and says, "Canadian whiskey, the only good whiskey is Irish whiskey."
Yeah.
And then he notices that the homeless man has a golden tooth. So he wraps him up in vines and steals the golden
This
tooth.
part made me squirm.
And then he pours alcohol into the man's mouth and then lets the roots go of him.
Yeah, but he just pulls his tooth with his fingers.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
Just reaches in and pulls it.
I will say, after he removes the tooth, they did not do a good job of covering up his actual tooth. Did you notice that? It's like, if I remember correctly,
so much blood, I was
they just painted it red. Like, but I do want to mention here that, and he had mentioned it in the past too, like in the flashback, but Leprechaun's birthday just so happens to be on St. Patrick's Day, and so it's St. Patrick's Day, and that kind of comes into play. Yeah. But when was St. Patrick, like, when did St. Patrick's Day become a thing? Because I didn't know it was that old. Is it actually that old?
I don't know. Sure.
But anyway, we then see the Leprechaun, like, summon his treasure, like, what is that called?
His pot of gold?
Yes, and he puts the tooth in there.
Which I thought was so funny that in this one it was a pot of gold, and the last one it was just a bag.
Well, he has the pot of gold in the last one, too, because...
I know, but...
Well, in the very beginning scene we see he has his pot of gold and he's messing with it.
Yeah.
And then, whenever... it's implied that O'Grady only got part of his gold.
So, St. Patrick's Day originated in Ireland as a 17th century religious feast day commemorating the death of St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, on March 17th of 461.
Okay. So it's old. So then we meet back up with the couple, and like we said, they go to the go-kart place and all the tour stuff. He tells them, oh, this is just a 10-minute break. And here we meet Ian, who's a friend of Bridget and Cody's. But he has a thing for Bridget. I was
going to say, kind of more Bridget than Cody.
Yeah. And so Bridget ends up, like, kind of breaking up with Cody. What were you going to say?
But Ian, like, makes a point of calling someone in to come cover his shift.
So that he can...
But I thought that was funny because he says, I can't work tonight, but he works at the go-kart track where they were all going to hang out.
Yeah.
But he's calling somebody in because he says he can't make it into work. Like, he can't stay. But then he's hanging out at the go-kart track where he works.
Yeah, and I didn't really understand... Because whenever that happened, I was like... Maybe he works next door to the go-kart track and he doesn't actually work for the go-kart track. But I don't know. Because I think he just does work for the go-kart track. We also meet...
It was all kind of, like, right there together, so I think it was all the same.
We also meet a dog here named...
And he even told Bridget that he saved a certain helmet for her.
Yeah.
So I think he worked there.
We also meet a dog, I think it's a Rottweiler, named Andretti? Is that, like... I'd never heard that before.
Not RC racer, race car driver. Andre. Wait, what'd you say? What's his name? Andretti?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know I've heard that name before.
I mean, I may have wrote it down wrong, but that's what I wrote. So yeah, so we actually do see Cody with the tour because he ends up running a red light. And so he gets arrested. And like you said, he only has a learner's permit. He gets in trouble because no one was wearing seatbelts, and he ran a red light. And...
Did you catch, though? I thought this was funny. So there was Cody, there was the two couples, so there was 5 people in the car, and when they get to the police station, he tells Morty that there's 6 seatbelt violations.
I didn't put that together until just now when you said it. But Morty bails him out, and Morty claims to be his guardian, but that's not true from what I got. But does Cody live with Morty?
That's kind of the impression I got, but we never really know where Cody's family is, if he just went to Los Angeles when he turned 18. I don't know. But again, we don't know how old he is.
But as Morty and Cody are in the police station talking, the homeless man that got his tooth stolen comes in, babbling about the leprechaun. Except he doesn't call it a leprechaun, he just describes it.
Yeah.
And I understand he's homeless, but it is St. Patrick's Day. And we later see in the movie there's a bunch of people dressed as leprechauns. So why would they not believe him that he was attacked and someone took his tooth? Like, I understand they think he might be mentally unwell, but I feel like they could look into that even a little bit.
But he'd also been drinking, and we don't know if they'd had run-ins with him before.
That's true. But he never even says the word leprechaun. He just describes his attacker, and then the officer is like, "Oh, did he have little golden buckles on his shoes too?" And the guy's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Okay, buddy, I think you've had enough."
Isn't that kind of a running joke throughout the movie? Because the leprechaun himself talks about his buckles a couple times on his shoes.
Yeah, I think he mentions it in the first movie too. It's not really a joke, just more like a observation.
Yeah. I thought he said something to Bridget about liking the buckles on his shoes or something.
Probably, but I think he mentions it in the first movie with whenever he first runs into Ozzy and they're in the basement. I think he mentions it. But we then see the leprechaun doing like ritual magic to find his bride, like in the middle of a sidewalk.
Yes.
And I don't really know exactly what he's doing, but I think it's like a tree branch is just floating in the air and like I assume pointing in the direction that he's supposed to go.
That's what I thought.
But as this is happening, this like talent manager comes up to him, and I don't know if this is actually a thing in LA where talent managers walk around and offer their cards to people. But this like talent manager is like, "We could make a lot of money together," and hands him tries to hand him a business card, and it's this like 3-foot tall leprechaun that's levitating a stick in the air. I don't understand.
You should see Dawson's face. He looks so confused.
But anyway, the guy offers a business card and just so happens to be a golden ring. So our leprechaun just rips off his entire finger and then takes the ring off. Which, honestly, it's pretty good effects, again.
Yeah.
Like, the effects in these are not bad.
Yeah.
I will say there's some effects in space that are kind of bad, but I don't think it really detracts from the movie. Well, we're not to those yet, so. So then...
But they did do a really good job with that. Like, he rips the guy. Does he bite it off, or he just rips it off?
He just rips it off, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it looks like a finger ripped off.
And I was kind of surprised the leprechaun didn't eat the finger. I thought he was going to for a minute.
I don't know if he really actually eats people or if he's just, like, biting people a bunch.
I don't know, but I thought he was going to eat it, and then he just takes the ring.
Yeah. So Morty and Morty has ordered a pizza, and they're back at their apartment, I'm assuming. I think they live together. That's what I got.
Yeah.
And Morty is counting down the seconds and then opens the door and says, 31 minutes, it's free, and then like slams the door in his face. And you know what that reminded me of?
Even though the guy was ringing the doorbell at 30 minutes.
Yeah, but he waited so it was late. You know what that reminded me of?
What?
I think it's the first one, in the 1990 TMNT movie, they order pizza, and then the guy has to like find the grate and bring it to him. And when they get there, the turtles only pay him like half. And the guy's like, well, where's the rest of the money? And I think it's Michelangelo, is like, within 30 minutes or it's half off. And then the guy's like, oh, come on, give me a break. I had a hard time finding the place because it's like some address and a half, and it's like this sewer grate in the ground. But it just made me think of that, and like the whole.
In this movie, the second one reminds me a lot of Labyrinth or Princess Bride. I think it's more because it's more of the adventure type story.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it kind of gave me like Adventures in Babysitting vibes. Like,
I think Princess Bride just because she gets kidnapped and the hero has to save her and all that. But we're getting ahead of the movie.
Yeah, but that even feels more Labyrinth.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I just like Princess Bride.
I like Princess Bride too. That's like one of my favorite books.
Well, Warwick Davis is in Labyrinth.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that earlier, didn't we?
Maybe, probably.
But this is kind of like.
Did you say it's one of your favorite books?
Yes.
I didn't know you'd read it.
Yeah, I love that book.
I have the illustrated one. It's beautiful.
But this is like that kind of leads in and like shows us that like everything is a scam to Morty.
Yeah.
Like, he cannot do anything. Because like, he's always pushing the limits of the law and breaking the law a lot of times too. But that's just kind of how his character is, which kind of comes into play later. So then we're back and we see that Ian has driven Bridget home, and he kind of reveals his true colors here and is like being very creepy and demanding of Bridget, like she owes him something.
Yeah.
Like.
And he's like, well, aren't you gonna invite me in? She's like, no.
Yeah.
And then he says something else, and she says, "You know I'm with Cody."
Yeah, because he says something like, I took the night off for you, and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like he's hyping himself up while pointing out what Cody did
Yeah,
wrong.
it's the nice guy mentality of, oh, I'm a nice guy, I drove you home, I deserve something in return.
Right. And your boyfriend didn't bother to take the night off.
And this is when Bridget is like, I think this is where Bridget's kind of like, well, you know, we're not actually going to stay broken up, or like, we're not actually broken up.
Right.
Like, they just got to fight, essentially. I don't think Cody knows that. So, then Bridget goes in the house, and Ian hears Bridget calling from the garage, and then sees her standing in the garage, which I thought this was cool because, like, in the first movie, we don't really see him do illusions like this. We just kind of see him mimicking voices, but here we see that, like, he's doing, like, a full illusion now.
Yeah.
And again, the mimicking voices reminds me of Ernest Scared Stupid. And that was, like, the part of that movie that freaked me out most, is when there's that one kid is outside and he hears that girl calling to him, and then he goes over there and it's a troll. That always freaked me out. Anyway.
If you haven't seen Ernest Scared Stupid, it's such a good movie.
We should cover that at some point.
We should.
Miak. So, I will say also, there is nudity in this movie.
Just one scene.
Yeah, and it's boobs. It's not really.
Yeah.
So.
I was so confused at this scene, because I'm like, what the heck is she doing?
You
like,
didn't see.
She just told him no. Like, what is she doing?
So.
She changed her mind that fast? Like.
So Bridget reveals her boobs, and so Ian goes over and is like, trying to suck on him.
Well, she says, he's standing in front of her, and she says, "Kiss me."
Oh, okay.
She says, "Kiss me before I change my mind."
So anyway, we actually see what's really going on. The Leprechaun is using illusion magic, and he's sticking his face into, like, blades? Are they, like, industrial fan blades, or...
To me, it looked kind of like some kind of lawnmower blades, but I don't know why they would have been stored like that.
Yeah.
So when he goes to kiss her, he kisses lawnmower blades.
Yeah, he gets a face full of blade.
Yeah.
And again, something that reminded me of, I think it might happen in Austin Powers, but I know for a fact it happens in Dumb and Dumber, where, like, a girl takes off her top, but then he's actually dreaming and he fell asleep while driving and it's semi-headlights.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I've only seen that movie once.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
And I don't even remember if that's the first one or the second one, because I've only seen those movies once, like the first and second ones. But then we cut back into the house, and Bridget's doorbell is ringing, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Ian, if that's you, I'm gonna call the police." I don't think she actually says Ian, though. I think she just says, "Are you back? I'm gonna call the police." And then she opens the door, and it's Cody, and Cody's like, "Oh, I didn't know I messed up that bad."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Not you," or
and
something.
He's got a bouquet of roses, and she says wrong holiday, and so he puts some four-leaf clovers on top of the roses.
I don't know if you thought this, but the first time that I watched this, I thought this was the Leprechaun pretending to be him. Since we had just seen Leprechaun outside. And I thought he was going to, like, try to make her his bride.
Well, we skipped the part where we go back to the Morty in his apartment. And he tells Morty. Morty says something, and Cody's like, "You're right, I'm going to go after what I want," or whatever.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that just because we'd seen Cody leave to go to her.
Well, I know, but I thought it was going to be like the fake Cody was in there, and then the real Cody showed up. Yeah. Like, I thought that's what was going to happen. But spoiler, that's not what happens. Cody asks for forgiveness, and Bridget, like, accepts his roses, and is like, "Oh, fine." And then Bridget sneezes 3 times.
Well, this scene's kind of cute because she sneezes, and he's like, "Well, is it the roses?" And she says no, and then she sneezes again, and he says, "Maybe we need to put those in another room." And he says Gesundheit, and we were talking about this earlier. And then she sneezes a 3rd time, and he starts to say "God bless you," and the Leprechaun wraps the phone cord around his neck and strangles him, so he can't finish "God bless you."
And do you want to talk about your issue?
My issue is, doesn't Gesundheit mean "God bless you"?
I think it's German for it.
So, it has to be spoken in English?
I don't know. And why... Okay. The Leprechaun is Irish, so if it was going to be any language, why not Irish?
Right.
Like...
Right.
I don't know.
And I kind of had it, like, at the beginning with William, he didn't have any accent at all. He was, like, American.
Yeah.
And it was supposedly in Ireland 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, which they probably spoke Irish that wouldn't even be understood today.
Right.
Because language
I
evolves so
understand
much.
making him speak English, but like he didn't
Yes.
have an
Yeah.
accent or
Yeah.
anything. But anyway, I did wonder about the Gesundheit and the God bless you. Like, I thought they meant the same thing. So what if his bride had been German?
Maybe he doesn't want a German bride.
What if he didn't have a choice because that's where his descendant went?
I don't know. Maybe it has to be English. Maybe they spoke English in archaic Ireland.
There you go.
So after he wraps Cody up with the telephone cord, he ends up revealing himself.
So yes, Gesundheit. No, Gesundheit. Yes, Gesundheit means bless you, God bless you, in German.
And do you know why they do that? Why they say God bless you?
Well, yeah, because they used to think that when you sneezed, it was your soul trying to leave your body.
Exactly.
And if they said God bless you, it kept your soul where it belonged.
So
I'm probably the one who told you that a long, long time ago.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just thought it's something fun to mention on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Leprechaun reveals himself, and he puts a collar on Bridget, but it's not the same collar that was on William, because William's was some kind of darker metal, like steel or something. Bridget's is like gold, and it's got like a heart lock on it.
Yeah.
And he refers to it as a ring, like her wedding band.
Yes.
Which Leprechaun does not come off as that, like, creepy in the first movie, but he comes off as very, like... I mean, he comes off as creepy, but not, like... rapist creepy.
Right.
Like... But in this movie, it does remind me a lot of...
Well, and it kind of made me uncomfortable because... like, them saying Cody didn't have his...
has his
driver's
license.
Yeah. I was thinking, so are these like 15-year-old kids and that's who they don't look like 15-year-old kids, but that's who he's gonna marry, this like underage teenage girl. What did you start to say it reminded you of?
It just reminds me of Freddy Krueger whenever he's being creepy all the time.
Yeah.
Which I think that is with teenagers, like flat out.
I was walking into work today and there's a guy that I work with that had on it was a blue and red striped shirt, and I'm like, Freddy Krueger? He's like, I hear that all the time.
Oh, so when Leprechaun brought the gold collar out, he had to summon his pot of gold to pull it from. And so Bridget knocks over his pot of gold, and one coin, I don't know what they call it. They call it something.
I thought it was just a coin.
Yeah, but I feel like they use like a specific name for it.
I keep thinking doubloon, but that's
pirate.
SpongeBob.
Don't drop them. But anyway, so one of them like rolls over and perfectly goes in between Cody's fingers as he's like knocked out on the floor.
Yeah.
And so Cody ends up with one of the gold, and Cody ends up like waking up, and he grabs a fire poker that's like pure raw iron, and he ends up, I don't know if he smacks Lep with it or just touches him with it, but it burns the Leprechaun, which also is something that's like from lore, and I thought that was cool because like they do that in Supernatural where they use iron to.
They don't do that with leprechauns, though, do they?
No, but like ghosts and stuff they use.
I know there's a Supernatural episode with leprechauns, but
yeah,
I've never heard the iron thing with leprechauns before.
It's kind of just fae in general, so like fairies and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, and then Leprechaun disappears with Bridget. Like just pops out of existence, and then he actually teleported back to his tree. And he tells Bridget it has all kinds of surprises.
Yeah.
And he wraps her in burlap and then tells her she's going to have his babies after he makes alterations to her. Her face has to look like his so the babies aren't scared. And he's going to have to make alterations so that he can hold so that she can hold all the babies.
In her belly. Something about being able to hold a litter of leprechauns, which I was like, this is really uncomfortable.
And he like cuts the burlap open with his fingernail and is like caressing her stomach.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah.
Again though, you can't not love the Leprechaun. Like he's just such like a.
He's so gross in this one though.
No, I know, but I mean like.
Vibes.
Yeah, but I mean like we don't support rapists here. But I'm just saying, like, he's so, like, goofy and
Which
stuff
I'll
while
just
he's
out,
actually
there
doing
is
his
no
stuff.
rape
No,
scenes
no, no,
in
no,
this movie.
no. I, as far as I know, there are no rape scenes in any of the Leprechaun movies.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen anything but the first and the second one, but there are no. I mean,
Well, I know there's some other sexual stuff in the other movies, but I don't think
the
there's
scene
anything.
with Bridget naked, topless in the garage is the only really
Nudity,
sexual thing
yeah.
in the movie. Um, but so then he gives her this red dress and says she has to wear it for their wedding night.
Yes. And so then we cut back to um, uh, outside Bridget's house. They found Ian's body in the garage, and they suspect that Cody did it because they find the note from Cody on the counter.
Yeah, and all it was the note that he put with the flowers, and all it said was Cody.
Yeah.
And she says something about it when they're before the leprechaun comes, and he says, "Well, I wasn't sure if you'd be home."
So does Cody figure this out somehow? Isn't he like spying? Like he gets close? Or
He remembers the drunk talking about the tree at the police station.
okay. No, but
that's how he ends up finding the tree.
he doesn't go to the tree yet.
Oh.
Because doesn't Cody somehow figure out that he's being hunted? Like, doesn't he come and Morty's being interviewed by the police?
Yes.
And Morty, like, shakes his head.
Yeah.
And so Cody leaves.
Yeah.
So Cody ends up meeting Morty back at his apartment. And is looking through, like, Morty's books. And so all Morty knows is that Cody is being accused of murdering this man that was seen with his girlfriend. And then he comes back to the house and is babbling on about a leprechaun and starts looking through all Morty's books because, like we said, Morty has that, like, Tor thing. So he has all these books about, like, mythical creatures and supernatural things. And so he's going through those, finding stuff about leprechauns.
The one part cracked me up when Morty's like, "I should have taken that book back to the library 6 years ago."
Yeah. And he says something like, "I never should have got you into this stuff in the first place."
Yeah.
But that's where Cody finds out that wrought iron hurts the leprechaun, and that's why the fire poker burned him. So then they get attacked by the leprechaun, and
because he leaves Bridget to go find his last coin, he realizes that he's missing a coin, right?
yes, from his pot. So what iron bars does he get stuck in? He gets stuck behind iron bars, but I don't remember. Is that just in their house?
I don't remember.
I don't either. I just wrote that somehow he ends up behind iron bars. So, and Cody and Morty make it to the bar they were in earlier, but now it's crazy busy because it's St. Patrick's Day. And Cody goes in the bathroom, and as he's at the urinal peeing, he can just, like, there's like a partial wall where there's, like, no bottom so you can see. And he can see someone walking to the bathroom that's got gold buckles on their shoes, and it looks like the leprechaun, but then he turns a corner and it's just someone dressed as a leprechaun and not actually the leprechaun. And he's got, like, a basket, and he offers Cody, he's like, "Take one of my chocolates," and it's a gold coin that's actually like a milk chocolate, like, it's just got the wrapping. And so Cody has just got done peeing, got scared by what he thought was a leprechaun coming in, so pulled up his pants and zipped them, backed up into the corner, has not washed his hands, picks up this gold coin, unwraps it, and eats half of it with his unwashed hands, and then leaves the bathroom. Yes, he takes a bite. I promise you.
Are you sure? Because it comes back into play later.
Yes, and even then you can see that it's only half of one. It's like, I promise you he takes a bite. Because then he puts it back in his pocket after he takes a bite. But unwashed hands, takes a bite of this, and then just puts it in his pocket. Walks out of the bathroom without washing his hands.
In the dirty bathroom of a bar.
And then walks out without washing his hands. So, he comes back out and finds Morty, and Morty is sitting at the bar, and Cody's like, "Well, we gotta do this, this, and this," and then Morty's like, "It's too late, he's already here," and they look down the bar, and the leprechaun's sitting there, and then they turn, and he's sitting next to them.
But there's so many people dressed up like leprechauns that
he doesn't stand out,
right?
Yeah.
Like nobody thinks anything of it.
And there's a bunch of, like, little people in the bar dressed as leprechauns too, so it's like he fits in.
Yeah.
Because they even make a reference to that Freaks movie The one of us, one of
Mhm.
us. Um, but so Morty makes a toast to the leprechaun and his new marriage, and earlier in the movie, the bartender had given Morty I think he called it the brown special,
I think so.
and it was just Coke mixed with water, and he gives that to people when they need to sober up. And so he had given that to Morty for his last drink whenever he was like about to pass out from being drunk and couldn't walk. And so Morty basically challenges the leprechaun to a drinking contest and peer pressures him into doing it, and has the leprechaun drinking actual alcohol while he's drinking the brown special, which is just Coke and water. Um, and so uh, then we cut back, and Bridget is still trapped under the tree. And it's like this, I don't know if we said this, but it's like this whole cave system.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. There's like roots in the ceiling and like all this stuff. But she's going through and she picks up all these rocks and she's trying to get out and she doesn't know the way. So she's dropping rocks behind her to leave like, this is where I've been. But as she's dropping them, the ones in the end of the line are disappearing. So that's not going to work. So we then cut back and the I don't think Morty says that he wasn't drinking, but he kind of agitates the leprechaun. What, I don't know the word I was looking for, but like
Kind of eggs him on.
yeah.
Like,
And the leprechaun tries to like levitate an ashtray over, and he can't get it. So then Morty's like, "Ha ha ha! You can't even do that." So then Leprechaun just picks up the bottle and smashes it over Morty's head, and then like runs out of the bar. Um, so I then put that Bridget finds a stabby thing. There's an actual name for this thing. An awl, I think is what they call it.
I think so.
But basically, she's digging and she finds a box in the ground, like a wooden box, and it's got like some old whiskey from Ireland in there. I almost said from Irish. It's got some old Irish whiskey in there, and it's got an awl, which I don't know what that's for. Is that the? I don't know. I don't drink alcohol, so I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Um,
I thought it was some
but
kind of tool. Like, I thought it was like a
maybe it is.
leather working tool type thing.
Maybe it is. I don't know. It was with the whiskey stuff, so I assumed it was something to do with alcohol. But
So
anyway,
this is off subject for a minute, but I was just looking on IMDb and it says one of the discarded drafts focused on how the leprechaun would seek revenge on Tori Redding from movie 1, tricking her into marrying him. Jennifer Aniston was offered $25,000, but she refused to reprise her character because she was focused on Friends.
darn. That would have been a fun one. I don't know though, because honestly, in my opinion, I like the second one better than the first one.
I do too. And I think
I don't usually say that.
I think that the fact that they're, which I've only seen the first two, I know you've seen more, but they're such completely different stories.
Yeah,
Instead of like
yeah.
taking Scream 1 and then you've
Well-
got Scream 7 where they brought back somebody from Scream 1. Like, obviously the Leprechaun's the same. Maybe the same, but
That's pretty much how they all are, except Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun Back to the Hood. They share a lot of elements. I don't remember. I'm gonna be completely honest. I've seen all these before. I do not remember the third one at all. I have no idea what happens in it. I don't know.
which one's the third one?
It's just called Leprechaun 3.
Oh, okay.
There's
Anyway.
Leprechaun, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun 4 in space, Leprechaun in the Hood, and then Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Okay.
And then there's Origins and Return, but we're not doing those, and I don't care about those because they're not Warwick Davis.
Okay.
So Bridget gets that pointy thing. Stabby thing. All or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know either.
And we did find Leprechaun at an espresso bar, and he's drinking a bunch of coffee to get sober, which I thought was funny because he's at like this hipster espresso bar, and I just thought that was funny. But the bartender is like majorly making fun of him,
Yeah,
and like it low-key was upsetting me.
me too. You are
Because-
right. An awl, AWL. It's a small pointed tool used for piercing.
Like, is it like what is it normally used for? Like, is it for like sap from trees or something, or is it like?
Go ahead and keep talking. I'm doing some research.
Okay. Yeah, so the bartender is like being really mean. Like, if this was not a leprechaun and just like a normal little person, the stuff he says is like very, very,
Yes, and I
very
hated it.
mean. And he keeps laughing it off as like it's a joke, and it's just not. It's not even like really funny.
It's a sharp-pointed hand tool used to pierce, puncture, and large holes in materials like leather.
There you go. So anyway, this is another cool kill. That's like one of the big things about these movies is all the kills are so creative. I mean, like, there's a few that, like, the cop gets his neck broken and stuff, but even, like, there's so much leading up to that cop getting his neck broken and stuff. But here, the leprechaun stabs forks through both of his hands, so he's stuck where he's at, and he's, like, standing by an espresso machine.
This was so funny.
And then he turns, like, a thing up on it and aims it at him and blows, like, hot steam on his face until it, like, boils away.
Don't you think he could have ducked down, though?
Yes, 100%, but it's a cool kill.
It is a cool kill. It is. But I'm like, dude, just fall. Like, just fall down.
So we then cut back to Cody and Maury, and they go to the go-kart place to steal the safe there because they know it's iron. And the safe had been mentioned earlier, or we had seen it earlier with Ian when they had got to the go-kart place.
I do have to say, I love Cody's character.
I do too. I like Maury most of the time.
He's not my favorite, but I like Cody. Cody's so honest.
Wait, is it? It is Maury, right?
Morty.
Morty?
Uncle Morty?
Okay. Yeah. I wrote Morty up to this point, and then I think I started writing Maury. No, I just wrote it once. Anyway,
So this safe is like a floor safe.
Yes.
That probably comes up to your hip or higher, probably closer to your mid chest.
It's the exact kind of safe they always steal in westerns.
And it's huge and heavy, and they know that it's made of iron.
Yes.
And the reason I say I like Cody is because when they get it open,
Morty tries to take some of the money.
yeah, and Cody's just taking the money out and kind of sitting it to the side.
Yeah.
They're not stealing the money; they just want the safe. And so Morty tells which I'm wondering if the safe was on wheels, because how did they scoot it across the floor like they did to begin with?
I don't know.
But so Morty tells Cody to find something to make a ramp to get it in the back of the hearse, and he's gonna go get the hearse.
But the police show up.
It's actually the security guard for the.
Okay, well, I just wrote police. I was taking notes.
It's the security guard for the whatchamacallit.
Okay.
And I only know that because Morty kind of makes fun of him for only being a security guard.
Oh, okay. So Cody ends up climbing up into the ceiling to hide from the security guard.
Yes.
And while he's up there, the leprechaun appears and ends up making Cody fall through the ceiling. But it's after the security guard has already gone back outside and is dealing with Morty, who he cuffed to his car. Like, he cuffed Morty to his own car.
Yes.
And
the officer goes after Cody falls. The officer goes back into the office to try to see if he was by himself or not. See if Morty was by himself.
No.
Yeah. He goes back in there, and Cody puts himself in that room.
I don't remember this.
And then Morty comes back in.
Morty never comes back in. He's handcuffed to the car.
He does too come back in because he locks Cody in that room.
No, he's handcuffed to the car right now.
Well, when does he lock Cody in the room?
He's handcuffed to the car right now, and he's messing with the cop, and the cop ends up releasing the cuffs, and Morty knocks him out. And then Cody ends up tricking the leprechaun into the safe with the coin. He, like, dangles the coin in front of the safe, and the leprechaun jumps into the safe.
But when does Morty lock Cody up?
Right here.
Okay.
Right here, Morty comes in, and he locks Cody
right.
up.
I was just ahead of us.
Yeah, but the security guard never comes back in.
I thought he did. I thought he went in there looking to see if...
Well, he doesn't come back in here, because he gets knocked out, and then I think he comes back in after the leprechaun has left and everything.
Okay.
But, yeah, he tells the leprechaun, I know how this works, I've done research on the lore, since I trapped you, I get 3 wishes. Which I thought was cool, because it's something that comes back in later movies.
Okay.
And
so that's why he locks Cody in the other room.
Is so he can get his wishes.
So he can get his wishes.
And this did remind me of Wishmaster, which I don't think you've seen.
I have not seen.
But it's just kind of that old trope, like the monkey's paw, where you make a wish and it goes wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Morty wishes to have the leprechaun's gold, so the leprechaun teleports the gold into Morty's stomach.
This scene was so uncomfortable.
I don't know how well that is at just twisting a wish that someone made. Like, I don't know how well it's like, oh, I wish I had your gold, and then putting it inside of him, how well that, like, is like a, ironic, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's the best twisting of a wish.
The way they did it was pretty...
No, I think it's cool and gruesome. I'm just saying I don't think, like, a lot of times with there's a skit I saw where it's like it's like an uncreative genie or something, and it's like they keep making wishes, and he's like, okay, you're rich now, but you have cancer, and like everything they wish, his twist is he just gives them cancer, and it's like that's not really like a clever play on what he wished. Right. It's just like you gave him cancer, or like in this case, you just teleported the gold inside of him. Like that's not really a good twist on his wish.
I thought this one worked pretty well.
I thought it was cool. I just don't know how well it works as like a twisting of the exact words he uses. Because a lot of times that's what they do. Because like you wish for $1 million and they make $1 million deer appear,
right.
Like stuff like that, where it's like wordplay, and it's just didn't feel like I wish I had your gold, and then he teleports it inside of him.
See, I thought it was good.
Well,
because it makes him waste his other 2 wishes.
Yeah. Well, no, I agree there, but I don't know how well it does it like twisting his wordplay, like that kind of thing, because that's usually what you associate with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the leprechaun says, I can get it out of you if you let me out of the safe. So Morty wishes for the leprechaun to be out of the safe, and then he wishes for the gold to be out of his stomach, so the leprechaun just rips into his stomach to get the gold out.
And when he's got, like, when he first puts it in there, Morty's stomach just looks normal, and then it grows and grows and grows and grows, yes. And then by the time the leprechaun gets out of the safe, you can see the entire shape of his pot, like, sticking out of... It's so gross.
And whenever Lep breaks into it, it's like breaking through paper. Like, it's just like, it's stretched.
It's so gross.
But there's no blood when he cuts into him. And there's no blood on the gold, which I thought was...
magic.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny, because it's like... I know that could be like a plot hole of like, well, why is there no blood? But in my head, I'm like, the leprechaun doesn't want blood on his gold.
Right.
So then Leprechaun teleports out, and I think, does Cody go out the window of the like closet and come back around? Because he comes back in through the other door.
Yeah, I think he goes out the window.
Okay. And Morty is dead. I don't think he even says anything to Cody before, but before he dies, Cody just gets to him and he's dead.
Yeah.
So then that's when the cop comes back in and thinks that, or the security guard comes back in and thinks that Cody did it.
Yeah.
And then maybe there are actual police here at this point. Because he says something about how many more are you going to kill tonight?
Yeah.
You sicko, or something. And then as the cop is like leading Cody away, he hears a woman screaming. And I don't...
basically screaming like, he hurt me, don't let him come back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't remember exactly what it said, like what she says, but it's not just like screaming, there's like words.
Yeah. So it makes it sound like Cody had hurt somebody else.
Yes. But then, instead of a woman, Leprechaun appears, and he's in like a customized go-kart that says like "me gold" on the side, which is how he keeps the whole movie. He's, where's me gold?
Yeah.
And he ends up using it to kill the cop, and then he tries to run into Cody, but because Cody has his gold, he can't hurt Cody, which is not something that was in the first movie at all.
Right.
Because he beats up Ozzy, and Ozzy has his gold.
Yeah.
And I don't, as far as I remember, that doesn't come back. Like, it's just for this one movie. That's what I mean. Like, each movie basically has, like, its own lore.
Well, see, and that's why I think it's cool that it's the theory that it could be different leprechauns.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or,
you know, maybe if it was, say it was the same leprechaun, so the guy in the first one figured out the 4-leaf clover. Cody's figured out iron. Like, you know, if it was, maybe they're just figuring out different ways.
Or maybe, okay, this is like a far... But, like, I've talked about it before, but there's, like, the whole thing of, there's, like, this theory that, like, when you die, you move to another universe where you didn't die. What if that's the Leprechaun is doing, and that's why all the rules are different, is because every time he dies, he just shifts to another universe where he's not dead.
That's true.
And they
I
each have different
still
rules.
like the theory that it's different leprechauns.
No, I know. I was just throwing that out there. Okay, so since he can't get the coin back from Cody, he ends up going home. And Bridget's in that red dress that you mentioned earlier, and she's like pretending to be interested in the leprechaun.
You know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of Aladdin.
Yeah, I mean, they do that in a lot of movies where the girl pretend to be into the enemy to distract them.
Yeah, but I just I don't know if it's because she was in red.
Yeah,
but it so
yeah.
much reminded me of Jafar and
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Yeah, so she tries to stab him with the awl, and it breaks. Does it just break on his skin, or does she move out of the way and it breaks on the rock? Because I was writing when this happened, and I don't know which it is. Because they're sitting on a rock, and the awl breaks, but I don't... Or, like, it's, like, bent. But I don't know if it hit his skin or if it was the rock.
I think it was the rock, but I don't remember.
And, the leprechaun's upset because he said that had been a gift from his father. So, then
you know why? It would make sense he would have one of those if he's a shoemaker.
Yeah, that does make sense. Well, there you go. There's more shoemaker references.
Yeah.
Maybe his dad was the leprechaun from the first movie that said he was 4,000 years old.
There you
go. So Cody comes into the leprechaun's lair, and he, like, is imagining, like, bugs crawling through his hair, and, then he gets attacked by a skeleton that I'm pretty sure is supposed to be William, because he has on that collar that William had on. And then Cody ends up beating the skeleton, and he falls into, like, a trap of roots, but then he just is not in it anymore. Like, doesn't he just, like, he's in it 1 second and then he's not? Or does something happen?
So, hang on. So, in the first movie, he says he's 600 years old. I just looked it up.
Okay.
It's like he falls in a pit with sharp stuff.
Yeah, it reminded me of
it. Him all up.
Is it Chamber of Secrets where there's the vine pit? Yeah.
Yeah. But then he turns around and the leprechaun's there and it scares him. And then he's not in it. So I think it was just another vision like
illusion.
What he did with...
Like the bugs.
With what's her name? With Ian.
With Bridget.
With Ian.
So Cody ends up finding Bridget, who has been working away at her collar. Is it with the broken awl? Or what is she using?
She has a different one because it's not bent, I thought.
I thought it was bent.
Maybe it is, but she picks it up with her feet off the ground.
Yeah. So anyway, she gets her collar off and she throws it back at Leprechaun and says, have your ring back. And so Cody and Bridget are now back together and they're trying to escape.
I want to go back to the skeleton fight, though.
Okay.
That was a really cool scene.
I agree.
For the 1994. It was a really cool scene. And you've got the skeleton is fighting him, and the leprechaun's over here like cheering on the skeleton.
Yeah. Well, is it? It's like a very early movie. It's like Wrath of the Titans or something, where there's like skeletons in it that they did with stop motion, and so what they had to do was they trained the people to like do these fights perfectly exactly how they had to do it, because then they went back and they like overlaid the skeletons over the top that they did in stop motion. And so, like, I think it's cool because it's like, seeing that, I don't know if it was stop motion, but in some places it looked almost like it was, and so I don't know if it was for sure, but it reminded me of that.
Yeah. I thought it was cool. It reminded me of Skyrim where you fight the skeletons.
Yeah.
Or called the Draugrs.
Well, they're skeletons and Draugr in that game, and they're two different things, but yeah. But they're skeletons in most, like, fantasy media. Like, even Minecraft has skeletons in it, and Dark Souls has skeletons. And it's funny because in most games, skeletons are, like, low-level creatures that it's like, you hit them once and they die. Like, in Skyrim, it's pretty much like that. But in Dark Souls, they, like, purposely made them hard because they're, like, people are used to them just being easy, so they go in thinking it's easy, and then they're actually, like, very, very hard. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because if it's, like, a reanimated skeleton, there's not, like, flesh and stuff, and so like it's a lot harder to break bones than it is to cut flesh. But yeah, so Cody and Bridget are trying to escape, but no matter where they go, they keep ending up in the same spot. And it reminds me of Scooby-Doo when they're being chased and they're going through all the doors and they always come out like in like the hall. And then Bridget and Cody get separated, And it's just kind of like he runs down one hallway and then he comes out and she's not beside him. And so Cody ends up going one way and he finds her and she says she found the way out and she asks Cody for the coin.
I knew from the get-go what was going on.
Yeah.
From the very second he met her. And I'll tell you why. Her hair was different.
I didn't even notice that.
Her hair was curlier here than it was throughout the rest of the movie. And I'm like, no, they messed up right here. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that's not her.
So Cody gives her the coin and she reveals herself as the Leprechaun. And
they kiss.
Yeah, they
before,
do kiss first. Yeah.
When he's Bridget, they kiss.
And then Leprechaun teleports the real Bridget here, and seemingly kills Cody, throws him into a wall.
Yeah.
Which I have an issue with. And then it's revealed it was actually the chocolate coin, and Cody stabs the Leprechaun with a piece of wrought iron that I think is broken off the safe.
I'm not sure where it came from.
Because he's had it all the way back since since the go-kart place. So I assume it's a piece broken off of the safe, but I don't know that for sure, but he's had it since then. And the Leprechaun explodes, which is funny because when I was watching the first movie, at the end when they do the four-leaf clover in his mouth, I'm like, I swear he explodes in this movie. And then they pour the gas on him and that causes an explosion, but I'm like, I still feel like that's not what I was thinking of. And I was thinking of this, where they stab him and he explodes. And then they
where you're talking about, like, they keep coming out of the same place. It's so funny because it's like they're under this tree, but it's kind of like a cave system. But no matter which tunnel they go to, they end up right back here. And I liked that part. I thought it was kind of fun.
So then they get out of the tree pretty easy, and Cody takes the real coin out and ends up like throwing it on the ground by the tree, and that's kind of where the movie ends.
Here's my biggest issue with the second movie. I loved it. I thought it was better than the first one. My big issue is, okay, they thought Cody killed Ian. They thought Cody killed Morty. And there's no closure.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Like, he's not gonna just walk free with Bridget because the leprechaun's dead. Now you have no proof there was a leprechaun to begin with.
Well, no, but my thing is, if the leprechaun cannot hurt him while he has the coin, how was he able to throw him at the wall and potentially hurt him?
Did he touch him, or did he...
He used magic to throw him. But if he could do that, why didn't he do that earlier with the... Because even the go-kart goes through him, which is presumably made from his magic.
Right.
I doubt they had a go-kart in there that said "me gold" on the side. But that's just...
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
And it's not a big thing. It was just kind of a little nitpick, but...
Yeah. My only I'm sure there's a few little things, but my big one is Cody couldn't have walked free. I mean, him and Bridget are happy and they're together and they're free, and Cody's not going to be free for very long.
Well, I remember For Hood and Back to the Hood, so I'm curious to see what 3 is, because I genuinely, like, I don't remember. I have no memory of it.
So next week is 3 and then 4.
Which is in space.
Okay.
Yeah. So Leprechaun 3
That's
and then Leprechaun
I'm not sure
4
about.
in space. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it.
We'll see.
I love it. I
actually was pleasantly surprised by the first 2, so.
And the second one I really like. Like, it's...
I don't think anybody...
If I was going to recommend any of them to someone, I would probably recommend the second one.
I don't think anybody could have played that role like he does.
No.
And made it what it is.
I haven't even seen Origins or Return, and I don't care to because it's not him.
Yeah. And we were just looking, and I said he was only, like 23, 24 when these movies... He made these movies. So, nothing exciting, really. Next week is 3 and 4, and the week after that is 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And then next week we will let you know what our book will be after we get through the Leprechaun movies.
Yes.
I haven't decided yet. I'm working on one, but I haven't decided yet. So, let us know in the comments what you think of the Leprechaun movies, especially what you think of the ones we're not reviewing. If you like them, if you think we should do them. And we will see you next week.
And if you have any suggestions for movies we should do, we would love to branch out and do some that neither of us have ever heard of. So leave your recommendations below.